winning on Saturday, winning on Sunday, keeping the pressure on the Dodgers. Just 2 games back. We'll see if they can continue to close that gap in the days ahead before this weekend up at Dodger Stadium.
All right, first off, crisis averted. We are back.
It was never a crisis, dude.
It was always a crisis on the show.
You just make everything into a crisis. You freaked out for no reason.
When the second the show's about to start and I have my update read, I didn't even know what the sponsor was.
Dude, you never know what the sponsor is.
Like 95% of the time, I have to know what the sponsor is.
I know, but 95% of the time you read it wrong. Or read the wrong sponsor.
That is true.
So it's all good.
Yeah, we're back on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're back. Yeah, great weekend for the Padres after a really bad Friday night. Felt like the sky was falling on Friday night with how Tatis is playing and losing 10-2. And oh my God, the end of the world is upon us. And that's what happens. And I've said this multiple times. No, I get it. But did you see social media?
Yeah,
did you see our YouTube chat?
We said the sky was falling.
No, we didn't. Yeah. We didn't. But the fan base, they were freaking out. Because you got, Padres playing a really good team and losing the way they did on Friday night. And then Fernando Tatis Jr. going through his struggles right now. Or at least not struggles, but just he doesn't look like Fernando Tatis Jr.
He didn't when we did our show Friday night.
Right. He had a good weekend for sure.
He sure did.
And they come back, and this is what good teams do. They played really good baseball for the next 2 days. And man, this bullpen, dude, they are such a weapon because it could have gone sideways very quickly on Saturday. When Michael King only goes 2 innings, it was inevitable. He was definitely rusty in his first outing back after missing almost 3 months. I thought his stuff looked good. He just was rusty, just missing his spots. So really no concern there. But now you got 7 innings that you got to piece together.
Actually 8.
8 innings, you're right. Yeah.
10.
8 innings because he actually went to extras. And yes, Robert Suarez did give up a run there in the 9th, but overall, bullpen came through, gave them an opportunity to win that game, and the Padres offense did just that. And then yesterday, once again, bullpen comes in. The Padres are up 5-2, and it kind of is a little wonky there in the 7th inning. Bullpen comes in, shuts it down. Adrian Morejon, Jason Adam. It's such a weapon for this team, and they're going to take this team as far as how good they are for the rest of the year.
I actually think and I agree with you, I think the bullpen is a huge part of it for the Padres if they reach their ultimate goal, which is to make a World Series or win one. But honestly, my takeaway from the weekend is 2 starters, King, and what he's going to mean for this team moving forward. And I'm with you. I'm not going to take much away from his first outing. And I think it's encouraging that hopefully he's going to pitch every 5th or 6th day moving forward because that's what they need. And he's obviously going to be working more than 2+ innings moving forward. My other takeaway, my true takeaway, is the best trade may have been not trading Dylan Cease, who works into the 7th inning yesterday, back-to-back. Just terrific starts for Dylan Cease. His last 2 starts, 11 innings. He's been sensational. Now, we'll see if that continues this weekend at Dodger Stadium. But for whatever reason, we got through the trade deadline, and was it in his head, all the talk in the weeks leading up to it? I don't think it was in his head to start the year when he struggled. But Dylan Cease yesterday, working into the 7th inning, coupled with Michael King coming back from injury, I mean, it's all right in front of you, man. It's all setting up. These chips are falling into place. Cease looking like Cease. King returning. This trade deadline acquisition in the back of the bullpen, the Ramon Laureanos, the Ryan O'Hearns, is just all setting up beautifully. I think Dylan Cease is a big part of it, and certainly Michael King is as well. But you can't ask for more than what Cease has done his last 2 times since the trade deadline when he stayed.
11 innings pitched. He's given up only 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 16 strikeouts. Is that good?
Very good.
I'm not going to say that he's going to continue to pitch like this for the rest of the season, but I do think the peace of mind that he probably has now, knowing that he is not going to get traded, that he is going to be with this team for the rest of the year. Those are things that you just don't have to worry about anymore. And you can't help but think that the thought of potentially being traded, along with your struggles in the first half, may have got to him to where it was affecting maybe some of his starts. I don't think it was the sole reason why he wasn't pitching well in the first half, but it's hard to say that those things don't creep into your mind here and there, and it might affect your preparation leading up to your start. It might, creep into your head, before your start or after your start. But I think the peace of mind that he has now for the rest of the season, knowing that he is going to be here and he's going to be competing for a World Series. Like, I just, look at his last 2 starts. He kind of looks like a different guy. There's moments that he has shown in the first half too, before the trade deadline, where he was pitching well, but can he keep this momentum that he's had his last really 3 starts up for the rest of the year?
And you think about yesterday, and it was technically 2 earned runs against him, but there's a ground ball to short that you can't assume 2 outs, and they got none.
Yeah.
So it ultimately ends up being 2 earned runs. Those are the only earned runs or runs he has allowed in his last 2 starts. So there's that. And then back to the King thing for a moment, where he goes 2+ innings and labors, and he's taken out a very good Boston team, but he comes out of it hopefully healthy. The thing about the bullpen covering all those innings, and you mentioned it, the fact that, they cover 8 innings, but the idea that Jason Adam is still available to you after your starter goes 2 innings, you still have Jason Adam available to you in the 10th inning of a game.
That's wild.
Is an unbelievable luxury that speaks to what they're capable of deploying in a postseason, because what happens often in a postseason is guys get stretched out, and a 1-inning guy can go an inning and a third, or an inning and 2/3. And you think about what that means in the built-in off days, and you're deploying your bullpen then. And they have deployed it to their credit so far. They have not babied this thing
more than you expected.
By and large. No, because of circumstance, because King went 2 innings. So what other options did they have to win a game? But I don't think that's the preference. Schilt has continued to say it. He's like, we need length from our starters. But I know this. Once the calendar flips to October and they're playing either in a divisional round or a wild card round, they will not be scared to immediately go to their bullpen and try to win a game. And to your point, it's worked so far, and we'll see if it can work once we get to October. And if this team doesn't go to October, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but are we really? The way they're playing, beating good teams like Boston, again, there's no guarantees here. 6 games against the Dodgers and these tricky games maybe against the Giants, but this team has to play in October. And once they get to October, you'll see like the full weaponry on display, which is basically their bullpen.
They're 11-3 in their last 14 games.
Yeah.
Which we've been talking about this is if you can have just one more stretch where you play really good baseball and you go 15-5, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're all but punching your ticket to the postseason, coupled with what they did at the start of the year.
Yep.
You have already a 14-3 stretch in you this year. You have an 11-3 stretch right now in August. You're still in the middle of the toughest part remaining in your season. And you started out really well, going, 2-1 against the Red Sox, winning that series. Now going up into the Bay Area, facing a Giants team that might be trying to make their last stand here against you, with Webb and Ray pitching tonight and tomorrow. I mean, if you play well this series, you have a real chance of just like maybe putting the Giants out of their misery. Still a while to go, but they're 4 back of a wild card spot, and you can bury them deeper. And you also have the chance next week to do that as well with a 4-game series here at Petco Park. But overall, you're right about the bullpen. I mean, I was looking and seeing, Boston Red Sox, people that cover that team talking about how the hell is anybody going to beat this Padres team if they have a lead in the postseason with that bullpen? Like, what?
And Alex Cora Saturday night, the manager of the Red Sox said that's the best bullpen in the sport. Now, I would say this. Twice since the deadline, they've had a quote-unquote late lead, and it's at least twice. You had the Mason Miller 2-run home run that tied the score. You had Robert Suarez, who didn't pitch poorly, but he allowed a run in that 9th inning. This goes back to a point I made at the day of the deadline. Everyone's like, their bullpen's elite. They'll never allow a run. Every game's over. If it was only that simple, when you're playing good teams like Boston, Arizona has a good lineup. I think this idea that, just get a 1-run lead and sit on it. It's never really the plan. I mean, you want your offense to do more than that. But even that Saturday night game,
they won both games.
I know, but you blew a lead in the 9th inning. I mean, that's not going to be the strategy in the postseason, to blow a lead with Mason Miller on the mound and blow a lead with Robert Suarez on the mound, which proves my point, which is the odds are if you're trying to protect a 1-run lead for 5 innings, the odds are you'll blow the lead because your bullpen doesn't have a combined ERA sub-2. So there's a very good chance if you're sitting on a 1-run lead, even with the Estradas and the Morahones and the Suarez and the Millers of the world. I'm just telling you that It sounds good in theory, and the bullpen's been good, but we've seen twice in 10 days them blow late leads. So it's not a guarantee. And that's not that doesn't guarantee you a World Series because you have a 3-2 lead in the fourth inning, is my point.
Correct. I agree with you.
Believe me.
No, yeah, it's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be as easy as that. But, back to Saturday night, which you're talking about, even though Robert Suarez did blow that lead there, that's crazy that they had Jason Adam to pitch in the 10th. And Michael King only gave you 2 innings that day. You're like, what?
Yep, I agree with that.
So the length of your bullpen. And by the way, I'm putting in David Morgan into the mix as well. I mean, this guy has been, if you don't know about David Morgan, David Morgan is proving to be a very, very reliable piece out of that bullpen. And if he was on maybe any other roster in baseball, he would be put into high leverage situations right away. With this bullpen, he's being put in situations where the team either has like a 5-run lead or they're trailing 5 runs.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even put into high leverage situations because this bullpen is so good.
Yep.
That just speaks to how good it is. And David Morgan's having a fantastic year.
They have more than enough back there. Again, I think it's as good as it was a year ago, if not better. And we'll see if that leads them further than it did, I guess, in 2024. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Schilt following yesterday's win against the Red Sox. His thoughts on the turnaround of Dylan Cease. Plus, coming up today at 4 p.m., the Hall of Famer, the Padres legend Trevor Hoffman will join the show. Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, will join us from San Francisco as the Padres and Giants will begin a 3-game series tonight at 6:45 at Oracle. We're here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Trevor Hoffman, the Padres legend, the Baseball Hall of Famer at 4 p.m. Kevin Acey at 5:30. We're getting you ready for Padres and Giants. John and Jim with you. Also, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. No, Brent's telling me we don't. We don't have 9 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway.
Oh, guess not.
Another time. Another time.
Maybe like.
I hope you got enough money.
Yeah, maybe like next week.
I hope you're covered for the gas and the electric and all your bills.
You don't need money, right?
Dude.
I know.
We could all use an extra $1,000.
And then it's gone like that.
It's so
and
true.
It's gone.
It's so true. Let's go back to yesterday. Dylan Cease works into a 7th inning, right? Like this is a huge part of the Padres plan moving forward. Dylan Cease works into a 7th inning. Padres win over the Red Sox to win the series. Here was Mike Schilt post-game on Cease with the media.
I'm sure there's a lot you'd like to get to. Maybe start with Dylan Cease and Son.
Yeah, there's a lot of good places to go. So, it typically starts on the mound. So we're thrilled to start there. Dylan was fantastic again. I mean, really, no hit stuff. The first hit was, well placed, but Dylan was fantastic and in control the whole way. And we'll get to the offense in a minute because I do think it's important. I do want to say a few things about it because I thought it was very relentless and as consistent of offensive game as we've had in a while. But to finish up with Dylan, I thought he threw the ball extremely well. And, the leadoff walk in the 7th and the base hit to Story got him. But he did more than his part. And that's exactly what we need out of our starters to be able to do just that.
And out of Dylan, we've been talking about it, like how good he has looked at times, back-to-back starts, and seems to really be validating what you guys have believed about him.
Yeah, listen, you see it all year. You pay attention to it. And he just continues to be more consistent. He's just throwing the ball where he wants to. He's controlling counts better. If you looked up, and one of the indicators, not absolute indicator, was his ability to go into the 7th. His ability to be in the 4th at 40-something pitches, be efficient with his pitches, dominate early in the counts, and look to get quicker outs. And we know he's got strikeout stuff clearly, but those early outs and those control counts are important for his efficiency and for us, and to get more innings.
So surprisingly, Mike Schilt liked Dylan Cease pitching really well.
Wow.
He was very complimentary of Dylan Cease throwing so well this weekend. 6+ innings, allowed 2 runs, although left with a 6-0 lead. And now we'll see. It's Darvish tonight, right?
It's Darvish tonight.
It's Darvish tonight. I mean, it's the same thing, honestly. Like, wow. Cease, you needed him to be better in the second half. Now, Darvish, I know he missed most of the year, but you need him to be better in the second half. You need King to be better off injury. It's the same old story, basically, with all these guys other than Nick Pivetta, basically. I mean, Nestor Cortez, a newcomer, you're going to want to see him pitch well, but by and large, these guys need to pitch to their capabilities, and Pivetta's done that. We'll see if these other guys can continue to do it in the final 2 months of the year.
And the good thing the last 14 games is you're not asking your pitchers to be perfect.
Right.
Because there was a point in the season for a good stretch where, like, if they weren't perfect and they gave up like 3 runs, the game was over because this Padres offense could not do anything. Now, with a much deeper lineup, there's still some guys that are struggling in it, and they're not, hitting bombs left and right as a team. They still are one of the worst teams in baseball as far as home runs go, but they're putting up runs on the board. They're scoring 5 runs. They're scoring 4 runs. Like, that's what we've been waiting for from this offense, and what they're doing over the last 14 games has been pretty impressive. So yeah, you're not asking your pitchers to be perfect. I mean, if you go back to Saturday night, Michael King goes only 2 innings, gives up a couple runs.
That was the key, though, because he got out of a bases loaded spot.
True.
Like, that's, if Boston scores another run, maybe you lose.
Maybe.
But they didn't, and you win.
And but back a couple months ago or a month ago,
they would have lost down.
Maybe they would have lost. Yeah.
I mean, to your point, here are the teams in Major League Baseball that have not hit 100 home runs: the Pirates and the Padres.
Yeah.
There's your list. The teams in Major League Baseball that have not hit 100 home runs: the Pirates and the Padres. I mean, the Giants, who have gone through everything, including a beleaguered offense, have hit 13 more home runs than the San Diego Padres. Now, it's not impossible to win in the postseason in the manner in which we're asking the Padres to win. And thankfully, their offense has been improved. But this idea that you're going to sit around and wait for that 3-run home run, no, they're not built to do that. They piecemeal together a
Station
2
by
or 3-run
station.
inning. They run the bases effectively. They're aggressive. They play good defense, hold leads,
Yeah.
have a good bullpen. But yeah, I mean, do you feel great if you trail by a couple of runs? Maybe not. But do you feel great with a 1 or 2 run lead? This goes that dichotomy. Yeah, you do feel good with a lead. I don't know how you'd feel trailing by multiple runs in the postseason, but again, the offense has shown way more life here recently that you can envision a scenario where they come back from 2-0 down in a playoff game.
100%.
You
And
know?
what you feel since the trade deadline is confidence 1 through 9 in this lineup.
Yep.
There's not a spot in the lineup where I'm like, there's a giant black hole.
It's true. It's true.
You know, I mean, Gavin Sheets has been thrown to the bench. We haven't seen Gavin Sheets in forever. And Gavin Sheets was a huge part of this team.
Play every day.
Played every day. He was in the middle of that lineup, hitting cleanup behind Manny for how long?
3 months.
There were certain points of the season it was like, without Gavin Sheets in that lineup, everyone's freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And now Gavin Sheets has been on the bench for most of the time since the trade deadline. And that just says how deep this lineup has become with O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano and Fermin. You know, it's just a very, very solid 1 through 9. Even if they're not hitting home runs, still they have put pressure on the opposing team for sure. And yeah, we would like to see them hit some more bombs here and there. Absolutely. But if they're putting up 4.5, 5 runs a game, that to me matters way more than a team that is hitting home runs.
I agree. I mean, it is testing the theory. Like, can you hit 120 home runs in a regular season?
Win a World Series?
And I don't know the answer. Yeah. I don't know the fewest home runs ever hit by a Major League Baseball team in a regular season to win a World Series, but I do find that kind of interesting. All right, on the other side, again, Trevor Hoffman's going to join us at 4 p.m. So the Hall of Famer joins us at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. I know we're going to get into this later during the wrap. I want to do it as well on the other side. Do we owe Xander Bogaerts an apology? Do John and Jim owe Xander Bogaerts an apology? We'll answer that on the other side. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Padres took 2 or 3 over the weekend from the Red Sox. They start a 3-game series up in the Bay tonight against the Giants. 6:45 first pitch. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to roll on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 win over Kansas City. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road games in its first season in MLS. And kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener Thursday, August 28th against Stony Brook. Kickoff time will be at 7 p.m. Score Wendy's sausage, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese, or honey butter biscuit for just $1. Pick just one or pick all 3 for just $1 each. You literally can't go wrong. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limited 5 qualifying items per transaction, not valid in a combo while supplies last.
All right. Jim is trying to defend his sponsor read there for whoever the sponsor was.
It was Wendy's.
I wasn't, all I heard was you messing everything up. I didn't even know who you were reading it for. But then to your defense, you said there's something in there. There's like the honey buddy biscuit.
That completely just threw me off.
To like, what is a honey butter? You're thinking honey butter.
Honey butter biscuit.
Right, but it's actually the honey buddy.
It's
is that what it is? Brian, have you had this?
Yeah. I haven't had it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Is it a honey buddy biscuit?
Yeah, I think
that's what they call it.
Why?
We'll look that up and see if that's what they call it.
Honey buddy biscuit. I have never heard of that. And I guarantee you, if you haven't heard of it either, and you tried to read this, you'd be like, what?
Yeah. Well, this is the key. This is what Brian has always said.
It's honey
It's
buddy.
called honey buddy. The key to successful reads is reading the read in advance. It's like Machado doesn't go to the plate having not watched film on tonight's starter.
But here's the thing.
Like he's seen Logan Webb.
There's a different read every update.
Well, there's a different pitcher every day.
I'm not going to go in advance and read how many updates do I do? 1, 2, 8 updates and read all the reads, pre-read them all.
Listen,
honey buddy biscuit.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
That's
okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. So, okay, we are in the business, right? We're not in the business of necessarily doing these reads, right? We're not in the business of Manny Machado where we need to get 2 hits every night. We're in the business of offering opinions, right? Like we're truly paid. Like our program director would tell us, like, you have to offer opinions. I mean, you can't just state fact for 4 consecutive hours. What kind of show is that? What do you want us to say? Here's when San Diego State's going to play their opener. Manny Machado's hitting 300 this year. I mean, you can't, you got to have more than that, right?
Yeah.
So again, were we critical of Xander Bogaerts during his struggles over the last 2+ years? Yes.
Oh, we were very critical.
Definitively, yes. Now, were we fair and within reason? I would say definitively, yes. It was always between the white lines, correct?
100%.
Never anything about Xander, anything
as a
personal.
Person,
no, nothing. I mean, we've actually defended him as a person. We were complimentary of him. I remember the day of his introductory press conference, but the numbers were the numbers. So were we critical? Yeah, absolutely. Now, has Xander turned his season around over the last 2 months? Yes, he has. And for example, MLB Network had this today, and there's multiple ways you can slice this. His last 36 games, he's actually been good for like his last 50, but over his last 36 games, he's hit 326. He's got on pace at a 377 clip. He's slugging 529 over his last 36 games. That would be an OPS of mid-900s over his last 36 games. So Xander's been better. For whatever reason, as Xander gets better, we're getting criticized more frequently. Like, this, how dare you? Like, you said he wasn't very good and this is a bad contract. Yeah, yes, because we offer opinions daily, and opinions can change just like players. They're not just single track individuals. Xander's had good seasons and bad seasons and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, the story has changed about Xander Bogaerts to his credit because he is changing the story in front of our eyes.
Yeah, my favorite thing last night, someone said that it was malpractice to criticize Xander and his contract.
He said like my take was bombastic and something else.
Says we were very unprofessional, bombastic, and wrong about X.
Like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Is anyone always right? Is AJ Preller always get the trades right? Did the sports talk host always offer the right opinion? I mean, no, it doesn't work like that.
I want to offer an apology.
Do it.
Ready to go.
Do it.
I apologize for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's the way that this works here, okay? Xander Bogaerts, he was struggling to a point where, I mean, we were literally talking to Kevin about like options for the team in the offseason to potentially like move off the contract.
Right.
And release the guy or trade him. And you think that when, we give our opinions on things, we're going to come on the radio and be like, you know what? We actually really think he's going to do well in the second half. What would we have to base that off of?
Even though he's shown us nothing for 2.5 years, trust us, this will be the best 11-year contract in the history of the organization. And here's why.
Right.
Tune in at 4.
Yeah. We aren't homers. We tell you how it is. We give you our opinions. And I couldn't be happier to be wrong in this moment. I said it every time talking about Xander. I hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong. And guess what? He's proven us wrong. And that's exactly what we wanted. We're not sitting here being like, oh, Xander's doing good. No,
this sucks.
This is awful.
Oh my God,
I can't believe Xander Bogaerts
show's ruined.
Yeah, we don't have anything to talk about anymore.
I'm moving to Mexico.
Like, no, the whole point of this thing is for the Padres to win and the Padres to win a bunch of games and win a World Series.
I asked Tatis to change the narrative on Friday on the show because I'm tired of the damn narrative that he cannot hit or hit for power and he's not the same player. Like, we want that to happen.
Yes.
And to his credit, on Saturday and Sunday, he looked like a much more improved version of himself for 2 days. What I'm now asking Tatis is what Xander has done, which is do it over a prolonged period of time, consistently produce for this team. And Xander now, I think you mentioned this yesterday, and I agree with you. He was a liability. He would have told you that.
Yep.
Tatis says he's battling demons. Give me a break. He's not having a Hall of Fame season. But here's the thing with Xander now. This guy could be like a net positive, more than could be a net positive. I mean, if this happens in October, getting on base at that clip, he's helping you go places. And that's what we want to say about Fernando Tatis Jr. as well in October. Now, Tatis has been that guy in October before. I don't know if he's just going to flip the switch if it doesn't work in the next 6 weeks, but Tatis has proven it before. He's capable of doing it. And what we're seeing from Xander, this would be an amazing version of Xander to have from October 1st through the end of October. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, and all the credit goes to Xander Bogaerts for turning his season around. Now, he still has 2 months or a month and a half here to continue to play like this. But now, just like we said when he was struggling, what would give you any other reason to say that he won't continue to play like this? We were saying the opposite 2 months ago. What would give you any reason that would lead you to believe he would turn his season around? Because he just, guys, you all out there know, all right, even if you're the biggest Xander apologist ever, it wasn't good. It was the opposite of good. And there was that moment in LA, that double that he hit in the 9th inning. And, that to me is what turned his season around to where now, instead of a guy at the plate when you're watching him and Xander's coming up, the first reaction you thought of would have been, here we go again. Now you're like excited to see Xander at the plate because more often than not, he's done damage for this team. And, it's a great thing to see if you're a Padres fan, because if Xander wasn't good this year, there would have been some serious questions and maybe hard conversations in that organization about what to do with Xander. Now, I think the organization, while they would probably still want more and more consistency from Xander over a full season, they're not, biting their nails thinking, oh my God, we have to try to move this guy soon.
No, he's certainly it's not just about buying time. I think hopefully he's helping this team for, again, we can't look 8 years into the future, what he's going to be doing in year number 11 of this deal. But I think there's reasons for optimism moving forward with Xander, 100%. Not just in 2025. And here's what I would say. Here's where the narrative fully flips on Xander is when you look at what he's doing now, homering in 3 of his last 5 games. That never happens with him. RBIs in 5 of his last 7 games. So
that's crazy.
He's doing the things that even when it was getting better, there wasn't the power. There wasn't the run production. I looked the other day. I don't know what it is right now. And they bat in different orders in the lineup. But Xander's got a similar number of RBIs to Fernando Tatis Jr. That's kind of a crazy thing to say. Maybe an indictment on Fernando Tatis Jr. And Xander still has a chance to hit 15 plus home runs this year. I didn't think he'd hit 10 at one point this season.
Yeah, and I love the revisionist history. I told you. Nobody told us. Stop.
People were kicking this guy out of town.
Yeah.
It wasn't just us.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Xander Bogaerts, he knew he was struggling. The organization knew he was struggling. Everybody knew he was struggling. And thankfully, that's not a conversation anymore. Now the conversation is like Xander just helping this team win baseball games. And I'm happy because it was so annoying to have that Xander conversation all the time. Every day. It was just like, well, another loss, or even if they won, Xander Bogaerts goes 0-4, does nothing for this team. Now he's doing so much for this team, and he's impacting games in a huge way. It's not just little things. It's like big things. He is hitting for power. He's driving in runs. He's hitting the ball all over the ballpark. You know, the error the other day was standing, playing good defense. You couldn't be happier. And you know, it's one of those things too. If you're a Padres fan, and all Padres fans are listening to us right now, it's like you wanted Xander to do well. I couldn't find. There were so many Padres fans that were just like waiting for Xander to do well because they wanted to cheer this guy on because of his personality and the way he is with the media and the way he does in the community. I mean, this guy is a great guy. There's nothing wrong about Xander Bogaerts other than the fact that he wasn't playing good baseball. And not only was he not playing good baseball, I mean, he was playing historically bad baseball for the money that he was getting paid. And now, hopefully, if he continues to play like this, you know, it's fun to root on Xander if you're a Padres fan.
I mean, what he's done since that moment at Dodger Stadium is really incredible. 933 OPS in 44 games, and he's hit 7 of his 10 home runs in those 44 games as well. Hopefully he continues beginning tonight at Oracle against the Giants. We continue to get you ready on the other side for Padres and Giants game 1 of this 3-game series. Padres great, National Baseball Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman is on the show today at 4 p.m. as well. And Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joins us from San Francisco at 5:30. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Trevor Hoffman's going to join us coming up at 4 p.m. He is going to be managing Jim. Well, here's the deal. Because this is for the Dick's All-American Classic. It's Perfect Games premier game. It has all these high school players. I mean, some amazing high school players that have gone on to play Major League Baseball have played in this game before. Next year, I'm in one dugout, you're in the other. I want to outmanage you. I'm double switching everywhere. I'm running circles around you, and I'm gonna win.
Why would you be double switching?
Classic.
Why would you be double switching?
Because you don't know about the rules in the Dick's All-American Classic.
Do they have the pitcher hit?
I don't think they do.
Then why would you double switch?
Okay, it's fair. I would have been double switching.
I would let you double switch. Go for it.
But Trevor Hoffman, think about all the things he's done in his career. Like everything, right? From a playing perspective, what has he not done? He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Never has managed. He's going to manage. Now he's managing against Ryan Klesko. And this will be Sunday afternoon. This is actually a free event at Petco. They're signing autographs, by the way. All these alums, all these MLB alums, a lot of Padre alums are going to be there Sunday afternoon. You can go for free. You enter at the home plate gate at Petco. You go for free. They're signing autographs before this game Sunday at 5 p.m. We'll talk more about it with Trevor Hoffman at 4 p.m. Think he'll be a good manager?
My guess is yes.
You know, there's not a lot of, think about this. Cooperstown players, like Hall of Fame players to manage in the big leagues, I know separate. Like there have only been a couple ever. Like there aren't a lot of examples of like great players becoming major league managers.
It's usually always the role players, the guys that never really played much, that were behind the scenes or had,
Isn't that interesting?
Like just average players at best becoming really good managers, because most of the time they're watching everything that happens instead of actually playing in the game. And by watching so much, you're like, you learn maybe more.
Yeah, Frank Robinson was a Hall of Fame player. Ryan Sandberg managed with the Phillies for a brief period of time. I actually managed the Iron Pigs when I was there for 2 years. But yeah, it's a rarity. But Trevor Hoffman will be managing this upcoming Sunday. We'll talk to him about the Padres as well. He'll join us coming up at 4 p.m.
Mike Schilt is one of the better managers in baseball. He never even played baseball at a high level, like, professionally.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that. That's right. Schilt's playing career
didn't have one
in any capacity.
I mean, I'm sure he played baseball at some point in his life, but
you're right. He came up like in like an umpiring room in Charlotte, right? Like he was like working in baseball, not playing professionally.
As far as professional goes, he never played professionally. No. And it's a testament to Schilt to garner the respect of a lot of these players by never playing in the big leagues.
Yeah. He started his major league career as an associate scout. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really, really unique. Anyway, Trevor Hoffman's going to join us coming up at 4 p.m. You mentioned something earlier that we mentioned before the Cardinals series a week ago, which is just like, what was the video game, Mortal Kombat? Look at me. The finish him, finish them type analogy. That's what the Padres did to the Cardinals, by and large, at least in the Cardinals' pursuit of the Padres in the standings. It's not happening because the Padres took care of it themselves. I think they won 4 straight against the Cardinals, going back to that series at Busch. You could do the exact same thing here. You play San Francisco 7 times, right? In the next 10 games. If you go 4-3 or better against San Francisco, find me the path to the Giants passing the Padres. It's not going to exist. It's going to be narrow.
Winning the next 7 games versus them?
No, I'm saying if the Padres go 4-3 or better.
Okay, yeah.
Hear me out. So if they go 4-3 or better, is there a path for the Giants to surpass the Padres? The answer is no. So the Padres can do that. Just by taking care of business, go 4-3 or better in these upcoming 7 games. The Giants are I don't think they're much of a threat now, to be honest, but you're right. You never know. Giants play well for a series, beat you 2 or 3 times, things can change. You take care of business, you are separating yourselves from the Giants from now until the end of the year.
For sure. Giants are, I want to say, they're 1-8, I believe, in their last 9 home games. They're 4-14 in their last 18.
That's crazy.
These next 2 weeks here for the Giants, and in particular, their 7 games against the Padres, this feels like their last stand. This is it.
Yeah, I would agree.
And the only reason why there's any hope with that team right now is because the Mets have fallen off a cliff since they got swept by the Padres. And they're giving teams like the Giants and the Cardinals and the Reds some hope here going into the stretch run. But if the Mets were actually just playing 500 baseball since they played the Padres, there would be no last stand for the Giants. It would be over. It would be so over. for this
Completely.
team. And it does feel like it's over for the Giants.
Barring, like you
barring
said,
some
a
kind
little
of
bit
crazy
of a
run.
last
Yeah.
stand. Yeah. And you look up all of a sudden, and Padres are a game and a half behind the Cubs for the top wild card. A game and a half. You're a game and a half away from potentially hosting a playoff series. You're 2 games behind the Dodgers. I mean, that's where we were to start the weekend, but the Dodgers kind of handed a game away yesterday.
But they won that game, actually.
Oh, yeah. But even though you're right, I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
They lost in terms of runs scored,
Right.
but in the hearts and minds
Right.
of people, they won.
On the scoreboard, the Dodgers
So
lost
true.
over the weekend, but they really won the game.
Would you say the same thing whether they win or lose the World Series this year, that they basically won the World Series because Shohei Ohtani went 4 innings?
Yeah. I would absolutely think that.
I would think that.
Yeah. If the Dodgers lose in the postseason, they really actually didn't lose. They actually won.
How do the goalposts move? Here's something for you. Because again, everyone wants to get to this Dodger series, but we recognize the importance of this Giant series. But how do the goalposts move if the Padres, for the first time this year, win a series against the Dodgers? They haven't so far, so they still have to do it, and they're still behind them. But what happens if the Padres win 2 of 3 at Dodger Stadium? What did Dodger fans say? 24 innings.
Yeah.
World Series, not worried.
24 innings.
It's all good.
I don't know. That's a good question. The goalposts will definitely move.
But if the Dodgers win 2 out of 3, the goalposts stay where they are. You can't look at us. We've beaten you 3 straight series in the regular season. You couldn't beat us last year in the postseason, little brother.
And it's a weekend series. And I mean, I hope enough Dodger fans show up this weekend, because not a lot of Dodger fans showed up over the weekend. That place was empty.
I don't understand the deal with the day games at Dodger Stadium. We had a game on MLB Network the other day against the Cardinals. I kid you not. I said it yesterday in the wrap-up show. It looked like there were 18,000 people there.
You've been to Dodger Stadium before,
I
right?
have.
It is one of the worst places to go to. I hate that stadium.
It's not a good in-out experience. In fact, it's awful.
Yeah, the stadium itself is trash. Being around Dodger fans is another type of hell that you don't want to experience. And more importantly, the hell that you also don't want to experience is trying to get into that place and then get out of that place after a game. I mean, it's a joke. So that would probably lend me to believe that Dodger fans, who I'm sure they gained a lot of new Dodger fans when they won the World Series, wouldn't want to go watch a Dodgers team during the day, because it's hard to get in and out of that stadium.
It's hard to get in.
Yeah.
It's so true. And win or lose, you win. Because Shohei Ohtani went 4 innings against the Cardinals in a random Wednesday day game.
Will Ohtani pitch against the Padres this upcoming weekend?
That is such a good question. Can we look at Dodger probables? Let's see.
Because this weekend it is Cease, King, and Darvish against the Dodgers.
Ohtani is not pitching in the series because he is pitching the series finale in Anaheim. So it's Dodgers. He's ducking
the Padres.
He's ducking.
Yeah.
Now,
He's
I do think
Padres.
he'll probably DH.
He's ducking the
But
Padres.
he will not pitch Shohei Ohtani.
But first thing is first.
He's not scheduled.
First thing is first.
Yeah,
John.
but from a media and fan perspective, I'm all for it. But yes, for the team, they need to take care
We're
of
not
business
players
in San Francisco.
We're not having to go out there and play. They have to. They have to focus on the Giants. We can focus on whatever we want to focus on.
That's exactly right. All right, much more on Padres and Giants coming up on the other side. We'd love to hear from you. Phone lines are open, 877-767-4760, or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. Again, 70470. Start it with the word team. Padres great baseball Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman will join us at 4 p.m. Coming up at 5:30. Our Padres insider Kevin AC. Hour 2, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. We'll start with the Padres. It took 2 of 3 from the Red Sox over the weekend. They started a 3-game series up in the Bay against the Giants. First pitch, 6:45. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to roll as they picked up 3 more points on the road with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road games in its first season, and kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener Thursday, August 28th against Stony Brook. It'll kick off at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. You listed your home for sale and it didn't sell. Jim Petrell has to take a look and tell you why. Go to jimknowswhy.com. Again, if you tried to sell your home and it didn't sell, go to jimknowswhy.com, DRE0154905.
We're celebrating the Padres past.
It's Padres Legends and Alumni Week on San Diego Sports 760. Listen as John and Jim speak with some of your favorite former Friars.
500 feet. 500. That's a big number up on the scoreboard out there.
Now, live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760.
It's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. Trevor Hoffman, the Padres great, the Hall of Famer. He will join us at 4 p.m. We'll get his thoughts on this Padres team emerging in the second half of the year. Plus, he's managing this weekend at Petco in the Dick's All-American Classic. Tickets, by the way, for that are free. So we'll talk more about that coming up at 4 p.m. with Hoff. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us at 5:30. Tonight at Oracle, the Padres look to continue their good play. I didn't even realize what Jim had said earlier in the show, that they're now 11-3 in their last 14 games. They have played well both before the deadline and now after the deadline as well. This begins a 6-game road trip for the Padres and a stretch of 13 consecutive games against either the Giants or the Dodgers, and a stretch of now 16 consecutive games if you include the Mariners, where you're going to Seattle. So, it remains the most challenging stretch of the season for the Padres. And I stick by what we said, I think on Friday, what we've probably said today. Get through this 16-game stretch with your head above water. What does that look like over these next 16 games? I don't know. 9-7. Shoot, 8-8 or better, but something like 9-7 or better. And you're in perfect position. And now they just got to do it. They got to execute it, Jim, over the next 2 weeks against the Giants and the Dodgers and the Mariners, and then the calendar flips to September.
Mm-hmm. They are playing exactly how you want them to play. Then they're truthfully doing kind of the same things they were doing last year at this time when they went on that crazy run.
Yeah, you're right.
11-3. That's not a small sample size. That's a chunk right there of your season.
You're right.
Most teams would love to go 11-3 in a stretch. Padres have now done it twice this year.
You're right.
Or better. And continuing to play good baseball, I just think that they have the confidence of, we're going to go out there and we're going to find a way to win. I believe Jake Cronenworth said that post-game yesterday of like, we go down in games now. It's not about, oh man, here we go again. It's all right, how are we going to find a way to win? And that's exactly the mindset they had last year in the second half. And this is the mindset they have this year in the second half. And these trades, I think, are really paying off so far for this team. There's at least I would say 2, maybe 3 pushing it, but at least 2 games in the last 14, or at least since the trade deadline, that they have won because of all the trades they made.
100%.
2 or 3.
Yeah, you're 100. If it's 2, that's a big number.
If it's 3, it's a massive number.
And the deadline was the last day of July, so they've only played 9 or 10 games since then. It's a really good point. And you just look at, it's interesting. I mean, is it 2024 deja vu all over again? Where you look at what they're doing here since the middle of July, and they've just kind of picked it up. They were really playing subpar baseball for a good period of time. From 14-3 on, they weren't playing at some record-setting clip. They're just kind of going along. And, at one point maybe fell to something like 5 games over 500 and have taken off since. I said it. I stick by it. It's a credit to them. I said 43-19 was going to be tough to replicate. That's what the Padres did last year. over a 62 game
Very
stretch,
tough, yeah.
43-19. And I still think it's probably tough to replicate. But when you look at to September and what we've talked about, Colorado a lot, and Baltimore is in there, and the White Sox are in there. Arizona to end the year. Arizona obviously has fallen off. I mean, again, who cares if they go 43-19? They go 42-20, go 41-20. Who cares? But it's crazy that they're putting themselves in a position where we're even having that conversation, truthfully.
Yeah, it's just wild. The flip that this season once again feels like we are watching right before our eyes. And you know, the moves that AJ has made, because like there was a game last week where we came on, it was like, this is an AJ Preller win because of what the moves he made. Ramon Laureano, game-winning RBI single on Saturday night. You know, I mean, the bullpen in Arizona when all of AJ Preller's moves came in and were huge. It's just, man, could you imagine if he actually went and trade for a bat sooner?
Honestly, though, you know what? Though all's well that kind of ends well, because he didn't. What would Sooner have even done? I mean, yeah, would you rather be 2 games up than 2 games back? Sure. But I would tell you there's enough time in here that all of their goals remain in front of them. Can you really execute these high-level 6 prospect deals just on a whim? Probably not.
No.
Takes 2 to tango. It's not like you can just call Baltimore June 1st and be like, Laureano and O'Hearn for these 6 dudes. I mean, maybe. Or maybe they'd be like, call me at the end of July. The amazing thing is, to your point, I mean, they played 500 baseball for 80 games. They could still win the NL West, even by playing 500 baseball for 80 games. They could still finish with what, a top 2 record in the National League if they surpass the Dodgers in the NL West. Again, things they need to accomplish, things they need to do, but they basically can accomplish everything they set out to, even by going 500 over like an 80 game stretch, which is crazy.
Yeah, they're 3 games up on the Mets for the final wild card spot. So they are sitting pretty in the 5 seed right now. They're only a game and a half back of the Cubs, like you said. The Brewers are playing out of their minds. I don't think they're going to catch the Brewers. But
what's the Brewers record?
73-44. But
yeah.
They do play the Brewers the final week of the season here at Petco Park.
3 games?
Yep. We'll see see where both teams are at. But it's interesting that they still do play the Brewers for 3 games. Remaining the final week of the season. You know, they're 2 back of the Dodgers. They're, I think, 2 back of, you know, the Phillies as far as where they're at. So yeah, the number 1 overall seed in the National League might be tricky, but
8
to get
games back in the loss column.
Yeah, but to get the 2 seed, I mean, it's not crazy to think that they could legitimately move all the way up to there. I think they're going to land between 2 and 5. That's where I think they're going to land.
I think you're right. I think 1 is unlikely. I mean, they're going to have to go. They got to have another 11-1 in them.
And the Brewers got to fall off here a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to play incredibly well over a 2-week stretch. And you're right. Maybe the Brewers fall off. The 6, I mean, it seems like you're creating distance even from the 6 right now. And I'll tell you what, man. Again, you can't be a beggar right now because they haven't won the division in so long. And it seems like such a hurdle with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you're the same distance from the Dodgers as you are from the Cubs in the top wild card.
That's crazy.
Like it's just right there for the taking. It's only 2 games and you're only 2.5 games behind the Phillies for the number 2 overall seed. So it's just so exciting. And they're still, let's see, they're 66-52. So they've played 118 games. There's 44 games left. I mean, maybe outside of a 1 seed, although again, it's still possible, just unlikely. I mean, 44 games, dude, you can do anything. I mean, they could win this division by 5 games or they could lose it by 7. Like there's just way too much baseball where with 44 games, like a lot is still in front of this team.
And that's also the thing that I would implore Padres fans to do, which is enjoy what's happening right now before your eyes. Because yes, we can jump to, the postseason and what they're going to do in the postseason, but there's a chance to have some really special moments remaining in the season and to slow down and enjoy the ride, enjoy the moment. Because again, we said this last year, it's crazy that we're saying it just a year later. Who knows when moments like this could come along for this franchise again?
It's true.
And we're still a long ways to go. Like I didn't expect them to just 1 year later after the run they went on last year and where they were at. And then the the team being favored to win the World Series and up on the Dodgers 2-1. I didn't think that it would happen so quickly where they're sitting right back in almost the exact same position just a year later. And honestly, they might be a better team this year than they were last year, which is crazy to think.
It was always such a hurdle, like in a fan's mind. It's like when your team loses in the AFC title game. You're like, are you serious? We got to get all the way back there just to have, like, how hard is it to get there? Some of these franchises, though, never, ever, ever, ever get there. It's not like it's some formality. The Washington Commanders fall out of bed in the NFC title game. Now they may, or it might be 6 years of watching Jaden Daniels before they even touch it again, and so on and so forth. I mean, the Buffalo Bills got to 4 Super Bowls and didn't win any of them, and now have been waiting a generation to return. So it can be excruciating and agonizing. And the fact that the Padres can get right back to where they were potentially as soon as 1 year later is a good thing to say, honestly, because at this point you're kind of hoping that, I mean, you are locking horns again. There's a very likely scenario you're locking horns again in the NLDS with someone like LA, Philadelphia, or the New York Mets. These are the teams you have faced in the postseason in 3 of the last 5 years.
Do you want to hear the lineup for tonight?
Yeah, it came. I saw that. Yes, I do.
All right. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off in right field. Surprise. Luis Arraez hitting second. Manny's hitting third. Ryan O'Hearn is your DH tonight, hitting cleanup.
Oh, wow.
Jackson Merrill's in center. Xander Bogaerts is at short. Gavin Sheets is back in the lineup, probably because of the matchup.
He's got good career numbers, right?
Yep. He's in left field tonight. Ramon Laureano getting a night off, or at least, the start of the game. Yeah. Jake Cronenworth and Freddie Fermin behind the plate with Yu Darvish on the mound.
Wow, look at that lineup.
Yeah, I'm a fan of, like you said earlier, like Sheets has played more of a secondary role, but you do have a 26-man roster, and there are 44 games to play.
You got to get at least a couple of bats.
Yeah, especially when you've had success against the starting pitcher, which is something he's had in his career against Logan Webb, who's tonight, right?
Yep.
So he's been good against Logan Webb, and then your bench, and then you got someone like Ramon Laureano if you need him off your bench in a close game. But this is a lineup that, again, is improving. Now, am I curious to see it against good starting pitching like Webb and Ray in a tough hitter's yard? Yeah. I don't think this is some walk in the park series, even if the Giants are 1-8 in their last 9 home games or 4-14 in their last 18 home games. Like, I don't think this is an easy series at all. Maybe this is another Preller special where you show off the depth, you win with that depth, you win with your bullpen, you win with your bench, and you somehow get out of there with 2 out of 3. I mean, I'm taking 2 out of 3 right now. I don't care if they're 1-8 in their last 9 home games. I'm taking 2 out of 3 right now and moving on to Dodger Stadium Friday night.
No questions about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a sweep.
Nope. I would sign down the dotted line right now. So do you think, and we can talk about this on the other side.
Yeah.
Do you think this series is a potential trap series?
I thought you were going to say measuring stick. I'm like,
no. No, a potential, in football, you have the trap game, right? Basketball trap game. Like, you're looking ahead to, the next game or next week or whatever, right? Dodgers this weekend. We know how much the Padres hate the Dodgers. We know how much the Dodgers don't like the Padres. There is obvious hatred there.
Plus, you're coming off the Red Sox.
Yep, and no one's shy about it between those two teams. Like, nobody's shy about their dislike for one another. And Mason Miller even said on the Foul Territory podcast the day after he got traded, one of the first things that was said to me here is, we don't like the Dodgers. So this weekend is going to be potentially fireworks. Do you think the 3 games here against the Giants could be a little bit of a trap, just because you're also facing some really good pitchers in Webb and Robbie Ray?
We'll discuss on the other side, plus what Fernando Tatis Jr. had to say about getting hit so often and whether or not he plans to retaliate moving forward. Plus, Trevor Hoffman, Padres great, the Hall of Famer, joins us at 4 p.m. Kevin Acey at 5:30. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Trevor Hoffman at 4 p.m., the Hall of Famer, the Padres legend. He will join us coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee on the show at 5:30. We'll get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend coming up later this hour. Jim asked the following question. I think it's a good one. Is this Padres-Giants series that gets underway in 3 hours a trap series for the Padres, coming off one of the top teams in the American League in Boston and getting ready for one of the top teams and your rival in the Dodgers this upcoming weekend? I think you could make a case for it. My only trepidation, big word, I don't even know why I'm using it. The only reason I wouldn't call it a trap series is the Melvin factor and the division factor. And what I mean by that is, like, you see these teams so often that, like, I think they have a feel for like what they are and what these teams are capable of or what these ballparks are like. Like, I don't think Manny Machado is like, you know what? Man, this is a cakewalk. Like, these guys have been through the battle, so to speak. They're such a veteran group when you think about the Padres roster specifically, by and large. So, I mean, I could make a case for it, but I also could make the case not for it because of the Melvin factor, because you play this team 13 times in the season. I could go back and forth. Let's see how the 3 games play out. If they lose the series, maybe I'll say it.
We defended Bob Melvin a lot on this show, especially because they made the NLCS in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
2023 was a disaster, and they did finish above 500. They had a crazy hot meaningless stretch in September. And then when he left to go to the Giants, a lot of Padres fans very critical of Bob Melvin. And I don't know. I didn't see it. I was like, guys, that Bob Melvin led this team to the NLCS. And, is he a perfect manager? Absolutely not. Nobody's a perfect manager. But it is interesting that the last now 3 years in Bob Melvin's, tenure, Bob Melvin's career as a manager, 2023 was a disaster because of all the talent you had on that team. 2024 with the Giants, their general manager gets fired and they finish under 500. 2025,
Trevor Devers' wheels fall off.
Wheels have fallen off. This Giants team is spiraling downhill.
Got an extension, didn't he?
He did. So maybe the talk about Bob Melvin is warranted because, the last 3 years, the teams that Bob Melvin has managed have wildly underperformed.
You're right in what you're saying, but it takes me down a path that all of these managers, like you just said, all of these managers have critical flaws, in my opinion. Dave Roberts is one of the most vilified managers in baseball history. He's also one of the winningest. If I go right now into Twitter and type in Dave Roberts, everyone is ripping him to shreds for yesterday against the Blue Jays. He's less than a year removed from winning the World Series. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know how you can't be vilified in the social media era. Like, if you're not Joe Torre, it's good. The stuff with Mike Schild and not winning in the postseason, or some of the stuff we say about him, it's a good thing that he wins in the regular season. But I guarantee if you go to Twitter right now and type in Dave Roberts, I guarantee a majority of it is negative.
Yeah. I just typed in Dave Roberts.
Right?
Let's see here, the latest one. Here we go. I hate Dave Roberts.
Yeah, it's like, and I understand it. I get it. Like, baseball, you want to react to everything. It's like your team loses a game and you're supposed to win 115 games in the regular season. You're like, what happened? I remember, like you said, 2023 with the Padres and the way Melvin fell out of favor. Was it Melvin's fault they were under 500 most of the year? Maybe not, obviously not entirely, but everyone ultimately became responsible for it. And who becomes more responsible for it is the people that are no longer there.
I think it's also a fair question to ask. If Bob Melvin was still this team's manager, there's no world in that scenario would happen. But are the Padres in the same position they are now?
I could probably argue no. I could argue yes.
If Bob Melvin was the manager last year, did the Padres have that great second half?
But the thing is, it's like, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world will never know. How do we know?
We'll never know.
Right.
But I think it's a fair question to ask. And I do think that Mike Schilt is probably a better manager for this team than Bob Melvin would have been.
I agree.
I still think Bob Melvin's a good manager. His career and his accolades show he's a good manager. But like the last 3 seasons for Bob, 2023, 2024, and 2025, where he's managed here and up in the Bay Area, it's kind of weird how there's a pattern from 23 to now. Every single season, it's been a massive, massive disappointment with high expectations.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that isn't a good look. It's funny though, like the different levels. Oh, like Schilt, for example. Like I think Schilt's done. Everyone would say the same thing. Schilt's done a very good job in San Diego, right? He's been a very good manager.
Great job.
St. Louis and San Diego. But where the narrative shifts is now all of a sudden, let's say they get to the postseason. Let's use the Padres. They built this no weak link roster, right? And let's say they don't make the World Series. Well, maybe they lose the NLDS, or maybe they lose in the NLCS. Does a narrative change at all on Mike Schilt? Like, well, I can't win the big one. Well, look at what he's done in the postseason. He hasn't won at a 500 clip in the postseason. He's never taken a team to a World Series. Or did he take a team to a championship series? One team, right? With St. Louis.
Yep.
And they got swept
by the Nationals, I think.
So I'm just saying, like, the narratives, it's funny. Like, and I'll use Dave Roberts. I think it's a good example. You win a World Series the next year, you're in first place. Like, this is the worst manager in the sport. So it's like you can't really escape it in the social media age. And unless you're winning 4 out of every 5 World Series like the Yankees did in the late 90s, pre-social media, what manager gets like complete grace from their fan base in this social media age? Like, who is that manager?
Because guess what? If the Padres this year make the NLCS, they lose, and then next year they have a bad season, people will be not turning, but they will be blaming some things on Mike Schilt.
What would people say if this year they get in as the 4 seed and host the Cubs and lose 2 games to none? You know what I mean? It flips so quickly. Now, again, what will they be saying if they do something they've never done? Well, then you're a legend forever.
And you have immunity. You have literally like immunity from any criticism for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, Fernando Tatis Jr. commenting on all of the hit by pitches and if retaliation is in order or not. Remember, the Dodger series is coming up this upcoming weekend. Plus, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend is ahead. And Padres great, the Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman will join us at 4 p.m. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. We'll start with the Padres. After taking 2 of 3 over the weekend from the Red Sox, they start a 3-game series up in the Bay against the Giants tonight, 6:45 first pitch. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to stay hot on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road matches in its first season. Just an incredible feat for SDFC. And kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener Thursday, August 28th versus Stony Brook. It will kick off at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back. It's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. staples. That was easy.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Trevor Hoffman, the Padres legend, the Baseball Hall of Famer. He will join us live at 4 p.m. Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, will join us at 5:30.
Do we want to say what's going on the rest of the week here? I know I just brought this up.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, kind of. We're going to have a Padres legend or baseball legend. You know, we're going to have a lot of baseball alums with us.
Yeah, well, it's in a promo running right now, so we can.
But it doesn't say the names, does it?
It says another name that's going to join us this week.
Okay. I mean, I don't think. Here's how I think radio listening works.
Soft launch.
Well, I don't think anyone listens to the radio at like 3:30 on Monday and is like, "Who's joining Thursday at 5?"
It's called forward promotion.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So we can do it each and every day.
Okay. I was just saying we could say that we have a great week of guests lined up that are Padres alum.
That's what we are saying.
And you're going to want to tune in every day.
We should run a promo for that.
We have a promo.
That's what I'm saying. So run the promo. And yes, we'll have a Padres. They're not all Padre alums. 4 of the 5 will be Padres alums.
Yes.
That are going to join us. But again, Trevor Hoffman's going to join us coming up at 4 p.m. So this was kind of on cue. So we were talking about this last night. Fernando Tatis Jr. obviously gets pitched inside as much as anyone in the sport, right? And has been hit a ton this year. And to his credit, has still been able to put together, a season where, he's helping this team. And he had himself a good weekend as well.
It's fine.
But he said this. I mean, he had a very good weekend.
He did.
But he said this regarding, getting hit so often or getting pitched inside the way he is. He said, I could charge the mound. But there's a reason why I've been holding myself. If I go out there, it's not like I'm just going to talk to him. If I go out there, I'm probably going to lose it. And at the end of the day, I'm probably going to lose more than what I can accomplish by doing that. So I'm just trying to stay in the game and find a way to beat them. That was the focus this weekend. Just finding a way to beat them, he repeated. I mean, I like that mentality. What is the point of charging a mound? Doesn't that just perpetuate the issue? If you charge a mound because you're getting pitched up and in, aren't you going to keep getting pitched up and in? Because you can't keep charging the mound. So you can't. There's no. The only way to retaliate is by hitting.
Yeah, there's nothing that Fernando could do to make the pitchers pitch him any differently, other than make those pitchers pay when they throw a mistake to Toddy.
Mm-hmm.
Charging the mound and throwing hands is not going to do any good. If anything, it's going to make things worse for your team because 1, you're going to get suspended and you can't get suspended right now. You need to be out there to help your team win. 2, what if during this fight that fans, I guess, want Fernando Tatis Jr. to do, what if he gets hurt? What if Manny Machado got hurt going out there trying to protect Tatis? What if some other player got hurt running out there to try to protect Fernando Tatis Jr.? There's too many things that could go wrong in that situation. I get it. You're a fan and you want, and we all want this too. We don't like seeing Fernando Tatis Jr. being pitched the way he's being pitched. But if you're the opposing pitcher, guess what? That's how you're going to pitch Toddy. That's the game plan. The game plan is throw in on him to make sure you have the outside part of the plate and to get him off the plate. Because the whole thing, and you said this last night, and it's what all pitchers and hitters do. There's this competition every single at bat for the 17 inches of that plate.
That's what it is.
And if you think that Fernando Tatis Jr. charging the mound at some random pitcher that hits him next time is going to change that, I have some news for you. It won't. Nothing will change how pitchers are going to pitch Tatis unless Toddy makes these pitchers pay. And even if he does, they're still going to pitch him that way.
Well, he's going to have to prove, based on what we're watching and based on video, that that's a non-effective strategy. That if teams are pitching him that way and they're paying for it, then they're not going to pitch him that way. Someone barked back at us last night on the wrap-up show. It's just an opinion. I mean, I'm not going to vehemently say that this person was wrong, but they said, well, what is he supposed to do? He's getting brushed back. Of course, he's going to, bend over backwards and flail. And yes, to some extent, I understand it. You're not going to take a pitch that's heading for your head.
No.
And just wear it, right? The whole point is getting out of the way. But what I would say, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, what happens sometimes with Toddy is he gets pitched in. I'm talking 3 to 6 inches off the plate. He'll drop his bat, or he'll flinch, or he will flail out of the batter's box on a pitch that is only 3 to 6 inches off the inside portion of the plate. I think by doing that, the pitcher is recognizing I can get him out of his comfort zone just by throwing slightly in. Imagine if I actually throw fully in. It's like until he's more of a statue at the plate, until he's willing to deal with what comes with that, and until he's capable of making opposing pitchers pay for the way that they're, strategizing against him, it's going to continue.
Yeah, I don't see anything that's going to change. I really don't. That pitcher, his sole purpose out there is to get the batter out. And the report and the book on Tatis is throwing in on him. Now, I will say that if a pitcher goes out there with the intent to throw in on Tatis, you can't miss. And by you can't miss, you can't hit him. Like that's when we have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to throw in, I have no problem with that, because that's what I would want Padres pitchers to do as well.
Right.
Get Bryce Harper off the plate. Get Shohei Ohtani off the plate. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make that at bat as comfortable as you possibly can make it for one of the best hitters on their team. And guess what? That's what the opposing pitcher is trying to do to Fernando Tatis Jr. And I do think it's kind of playing mind games with him to the point where, it maybe factors into some of his struggles this year.
I agree. And is he pitched differently than some of these other guys that are getting hit? Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, it does feel as if he gets pitched up and in, like buzzing the tower, so to speak, more than a lot of players that we watch on a night in and night out basis that get hit. Like Jake Cronenworth gets hit. He's not getting pitched up and in like that. But the thing with Toddy is, and Kevin's kind of made this point, and it kind of backs this point up, that you come up with a game plan and like you're circling Fernando Tatis Jr. That's fair. Even if he's not the number one player you're circling. The guy's hit 42 home runs in the season. So you're circling him and you are coming up with a strategy that you think is going to be effective. And this strategy is proving to be effective. Now, again, it doesn't mean Tatis has hit 199 or his on-base plus slugging is 605. He's still finding ways to impact the game. He's getting on base a lot. He's seeing a lot of balls. His chase rate is down. He is getting hit by pitches. That actually does help a team. His base running has been good. He's stolen third 10 times this year. He stole multiple bases Saturday. His defense is elite. So he is helping his team win. But the strategy opponents are using to pitch to him is working as well, because his OPS is way down this year and in the last couple of years. So what they're doing has at least like quelled some of his impact at the plate. It hasn't eliminated him, but it is, it's lessened his impact offensively.
And I mean, it's a fair question in our YouTube chat. I like this name here. Dodgers Suck says, why don't they throw at Manny like that? Because Manny's considered the best hitter on this team, right? Yeah. So wouldn't you want to do the same thing to Manny Machado? Manny Machado's not thrown or at least pitched to like Fernando Tatis Jr.'s pitched to.
I also think that sometimes with Manny, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe this is where Tatis needs to show more emotion sometimes up there. Manny's not charging mounds, but Manny isn't putting up with it. Manny also isn't flailing. Watch Manny. He doesn't bail out of batter boxes hardly ever.
He owns that plate.
So, and again, like to each their own. I mean, Manny Machado is a completely different hitter than Fernando Tatis Jr., is he not? And there are Listen, if you're going to throw 3 consecutive pitches in on Manny Machado, like you're going to have a problem.
Yeah,
Like
he will let
won't
you
even-
know.
And with Fernando Tatis Jr., it's like you throw in and you throw in and you throw in and you keep throwing in. And some of this, by the way, might be on the Padres. If you're not asking Fernando Tatis Jr. to charge the mound. Maybe you're asking Nestor Cortez to hit someone.
And it's happened before. The
Yep.
Dodgers series, when Toddy got hit multiple times, the retaliation came against Ohtani, and everybody knew it.
And Ohtani was like, move along.
Yeah, and because that's how the game is policed.
Yep.
The solution to this problem is not Fernando Tatis Jr. charging the mound.
No, that's not going to fix anything.
That's like the worst outcome.
I mean, it'll be headline, it'll grab headlines. We'll talk about it for 2 days.
It would, to me, signal such an immaturity level from a player to go charge the mound after getting hit like that.
Yeah.
Just like not thinking about what you are about to do and letting your emotions take over. And in the end, you're going to say to yourself, that was stupid.
It kind of isn't like when I think about Fernando Tatis Jr., all 7 of these years, one year he missed, but I don't think of Tatis as that fiery hothead player. When he homers, okay. We've seen those amazing.
All those emotions go towards his dugout.
Yeah,
though.
like towards his. That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't seem to be the guy that's first to throw a haymaker. To his credit, even when he was 19,
I'm glad
or 20.
he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to accomplish anything.
No,
I really don't.
I love that answer from Tatis.
I agree.
I don't look at that and say, oh no, I wanted to be more fiery and like charge the mound or yell at the pitcher or throw something out. Like no, I want Tatis to be mature about it and know that this is what's going to happen to me. I have to overcome it. I have to stand in that box. I have to hold my ground and I have to own that plate. And I can't let the opposing pitcher, whoever it is,
Dictate
get me out of my my rhythm.
I agree. I love the quote. If I had one thought on it to go further that I just thought of, I mean, maybe you do want to every once in a while be a little bit more like Manny in terms of just maybe you want to chirp or bark or put, you know what I mean? Like when I think back to like Manny when he got hit in St. Louis, he didn't charge no mound, but he got his point across. So while I agree that Tatis should not be charging mounds, consider Manny got his point across, didn't get suspended, and the Padres completely took off after that moment. So, but again, Manny's his own player and Toddy is his own player. All right, best and worst of the sports weekend on the other side. Trevor Hoffman at 4 p.m. It's John and Jim. Trevor Hoffman, Padres great, the Hall of Famer at 4 p.m., the Dick's All-American Classic, part of Perfect Game. It's their premier game involving some of the top high school players in the country. Trevor Hoffman's going to manage in that game. That's going to be Sunday at 5 p.m. at Petco Park. Admission is free. So Trevor Hoffman's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. No, excuse me, at 4 p.m. in just about 12 minutes. All right, because we have Trevor joining us in about 10 or 12 minutes, let's get to this.
Is that good?
Wilcox, snapper, Huber, holder, from 29 yards away. Oh, he missed it badly. Kick on the way. Boswell. That's a winner.
The good and bad from the sports weekend.
All right, I'll start with this. I've been saying in my update all day. SDFC, they won on the road again over Kansas City, 2-0. They have now won 5 straight road matches, which is the most in MLS history ever for an expansion team. Brent, is that good?
It is good!
I mean, not only are they one of the best teams in MLS, I think it's easy to say this is probably, is the best expansion team in the history of the sport.
Maybe at the end of the year, I don't know what the points record is. You know, they play more matches today than maybe they played 10 years ago. They have 8 regular season matches left. That's it. 8 regular season matches left. They lead the Western Conference by 4 points. They've opened up a 4-point lead in the West, and they are trailing only Philadelphia for points in Major League Soccer. Philadelphia has 51. STFC has 49. All right, I'll go here. Xander Bogaerts. He's been very good. I'll give you the numbers. He's hit 326 in his last 36 games. He's had a 529 slug over his last 36 games. He's homered in 3 of his last 5 games. Is all of that good?
It is good!
Apologize.
You know what, John? Maybe later.
Maybe later, yeah.
Maybe later. Speaking of the Padres, their bullpen on Saturday night, John, when Shakira was at the game.
Oh, that's right.
You see this? So Jeremiah Estrada, once he came in the game, and the pitchers that were to follow him, the Padres bullpen struck out 13 of the 18 batters they faced to end that game. And it was all their big guns. It wasn't like, David Morgan. I mean, it was Estrada. It was Miller. It was Suarez. It was Morahone. It was Adam. 13 of 18 batters they faced on Saturday night, they struck out. At one point, I think it was like 7 in a row, or maybe it was 8 in a row, because Mason Miller came in, struck out the side. Jeremiah Estrada struck out 5 in a row. Is that good, Brent? Yes, it was good that Shakira was at the game.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. That's where I was going next. Shakira went to the Padres game on Saturday. Is that good? Yeah. Seriously? Back to you. Yeah, look at my list.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Shakira went to the game.
Giants fans might have found their new quarterback, Jackson Dart.
Ole Miss.
Over the weekend, went 12 for 19 with 154 yards and a touchdown in his preseason debut for the Giants. Our buddy Thor over on the show on Rock 105.3 has already gotten a tattoo of Jackson Dart, and his jersey is in the cart. Brent, is that good?
You think there's a text chain with these rookie quarterbacks like, I'll one up your preseason debut, Shador? Look at this.
Yeah.
I was 13 of 19. You were only 11 of 15.
Well, it's better to start like this than the alternative.
Yeah. I mean, preseason football, I don't know if it's the best indicator, but 100%. I mean, we saw some of the Sanders throws, and they were impressive. I don't care if it's preseason or not. And if you're a Giants fan, you're looking for something to cling on to, by the way.
Oh, my gosh.
My final one is Trey White, who we've interviewed a number of times over the years on John and Jim, the Aztecs' outstanding edge rusher. He was named to the Bednarik Award watch list today. That award is given annually to the nation's best defensive player. Trey White of San Diego State is on that list. Is that good?
It is good!
That's good. That's very good.
Did you do 3?
I did do 3.
What's your 4th? Do you have any extra curricular honorable mention? I'll give you an honorable mention.
Give me an honorable mention.
Toddy over the weekend, 4 for 8, 2 steals.
Is that good?
That's good. You don't need the is that good sound.
All right, I got one.
You want to go? You want to try to one up that?
Yeah, I'll try to one up that here. Hold on. Let me just find this real quick here. Stand by. Jackson Merrill hasn't had a hit since August 5th. Is that good?
No,
Let's go.
Are you
August
kidding
5th
me?
of what year?
2018.
All right, so you went with is that good? No.
Yeah. He was 0 for in the series against the Red Sox, and then he had an 0 for against the Diamondbacks last week.
Are you worried?
No.
Are you concerned?
Piquito.
A little?
A little.
I mean, the fact is they've done a lot of this. I mean, the entire body of work with him missing some time and with him not replicating 2024. Now there is time.
They're winning games. They're 11-3 during a stretch where, he's hitless in 4 straight. Now he started out the month of August really good. I put out a tweet.
I remember that.
So I jinxed him.
Jinxed him.
My fault. And they're still winning games.
Yeah.
Imagine what they're going to look like when Jackson Merrill starts hitting again. And he's going to hit again. I feel fine about him. Just his mindset, his attitude. You've seen it over the course of a season. Like he's gone through something before and he comes out better on the other side. But there is concern and he does have to play better. If I'm going to criticize one player, I got to criticize them all if they're not doing well.
Criticize them all.
And Jackson Merrill's got to be better. He knows it. And there's a lot of balls that he hit this weekend that were hard hit and outfielders made great plays on him.
Which part of his one steal this year did you think was the best?
Well, it was that
He
one
came
steal.
in Chicago, right?
It was that one steal, yeah.
Again, even with he's a below average hitter at OPS plus, so his on base plus slugging is below major league average.
Right.
Yet he has a 1.6 WAR, and he's missed time due to what? The hammy and the concussion. So he's only appeared in a portion of the team's games this year. He's only appeared in how many games this year? 85 Padres games this year. So he's missed some time, but hopefully a good finish coming up for Jackson Merrill. All right, we're going to step aside because Trevor Hoffman, the Padres great, the National Baseball Hall of Famer, is going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about the Padres and their play here entering the middle of August, and we'll also talk about the All-American Classic coming up, part of Perfect Game's premier showcase this Sunday at 5 p.m. We'll get into that with the Padre great Trevor Hoffman on the other side to kick off Hour 3 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres took 2 of 3 over the weekend from the Red Sox. They start a 3-game series up in the Bay tonight against the Giants. 6:45 first pitch. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to roll on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road games in its first season. And kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener Thursday, August 28th against Stony Brook. It will kick off at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. It is great to start it off with the Padres legend, the Baseball Hall of Famer, Trevor Hoffman, because we got a big weekend coming up at Petco Park. We're going to talk about the Padres. We're also going to talk about the Dick's All-American Classic. It's Sunday at 5 at Petco. It's the premier game for Perfect Game with some of the top high school baseball players in the country. By the way, attendance free. First 1,000 fans receive a free poster. There's going to be an autograph opportunity with the Major League Baseball legends before the game as well. Information at pgallamerican.com. And Trevor, we appreciate you taking time for us. You've done a lot in your career, but you haven't managed, right? And you're going to be managing in this Perfect Game All-Star game. Tell us about that, and thanks for hopping on.
I'll tell you what, you nailed everything. I don't even really need to speak. That was awesome. What a great tag. You're right. I've only engaged more as an ambassador role leading up to this point, but they've asked myself and Ryan Klesko, a couple of Padre alums, to participate in managing the East and the West clubs. And I think more than anything, it's given us a chance to kind of get in the dugout and really have an opportunity to be around the kids on a more organic way. It's not just, okay, I'm rolling around in a suit or a tie and, there's that guy that they said played here in San Diego, versus now they're going to get a chance to kind of go, hey, what was it like playing here? What was this place? What did downtown look like before Petco was here? And it'll be some neat conversations. I'm looking forward to seeing the next wave of young talent come through.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend here at Petco Park Sunday at 5 p.m. Taking a look at this Padres team. I saw you were at the game over the weekend. A lot of moves that AJ made at the trade deadline. Padres are making another run. What's your take on this year's Padres team and their chances to win the first World Series in franchise history?
That's the goal. Got to give AJ a lot of credit. 2 years in a row now, he's kind of sat back and watched the first half unfold and realized there's a couple areas that he wanted to try and upgrade, and maybe not upgrade, but just give us an opportunity to have some flexibility. And he did it 2 years in a row. He solidified our bullpen last year with Tanner Scott and Jason Adam coming over. Did it again with Mason add another piece of the bullpen there, helped out in left field behind the dish. And so I give him a lot of credit for, finding out some of the things. And I'm sure he's discussing with Mike as far as what the vibe is in the clubhouse and what they both feel like they need. But, I give him credit for not worrying about what prospects look like, if they are ever going to look like in our uniform. It's an opportunity to go out and make our club better now. And it's certainly provided a lot of excitement. As you mentioned, I was at the game against the Red Sox on Saturday, and I was thankful I wasn't chowing a hot dog down while the camera was on. But it's good. It's good to be a part of seeing the Padres win a lot.
Going to games, do you still get nervous watching this team play? Like, I know obviously you have the ties here with the Padres, but like watching from afar, do you still get nervous when you watch this team?
No, I don't get nervous. I get excited more than anything. I think, you can see the game unfold. You can kind of realize, okay, if the score stays here, if we maintain the lead here, then we're just going to get a chance to roll the back end of the pen and close this thing down. And, I do reflect like, oh man, it was pretty cool. And, this time of the game, you got to anticipate the phone call, or you kind of anticipate getting ready. I'm thankful I don't have to worry about that anymore. The juices are good there, but the body just won't. That's not happening anymore. I'll let Robert and Mason and everyone else take care of that.
Perfect. Trevor Hoffman with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Again, you can get to Petco this Sunday at 5. The Dick's All-American Classic, Perfect Game's premier game. Some of the top high school players in the country. It is a free admission event. More information at pgallamerican.com. So, Trevor, this time of year, I mean, again, the movement of players at the deadline, you never fully know how it's going to work. Take us back to your career. I mean, you were traded in the middle of a year, right? When you ended up in San Diego, it wasn't right at the deadline, but it was in the middle of a year. What's that like for a player, and what does it take to kind of take some of these pieces that are added in at a deadline and the job of Mike Schilt to point the whole team in the right direction?
You know, that's a really good question, and it's a great point. I think we immediately want people to, you know, mesh with the clubhouse and come out firing and do all the things that we saw you doing and maybe in the other uniform, and do that again here. And we're not robots, and so there is this little lag where you kind of got to figure out where you're going to live. You got to figure out, you know, your family situation, maybe button up the hatches at the last place you came from, and so it's just not the smoothest of transitions for guys. It does take a little bit of time, but you're certainly excited because you're coming into an opportunity to be a part of a playoff run, and you know a little bit about the players that you're coming in to meet. You're recognizing where the club's at. They're fighting for, you know, a division championships, or their expectations are to win a pennant and to get to the World Series and ultimately have that happen in San Diego for the first time. So there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes, but all we worry about is the wins on the field. And I know that these guys coming out of spring training were a pretty tight-knit group. The staff did an amazing job of, you know, explaining where we're at as an organization. We're not 2 years ago where we're kind of learning the lingo and we're learning what type of team we are. A couple years into it now, you have the leadership of the guys on the field. You know, Manny's healthy. He's having a great year. You know, it's things that you expect of a club that's been together for a little while, and I think we're starting to see that. And these added pieces, they're going to fit right in, and hopefully they can roll and make a good run here.
One of the new pieces, Mason Miller. What's been your impressions of him so far?
You know, Mason, I think, is a guy that you know, he cut his teeth up in Sacramento with the Athletics, a little bit of time in Oakland. Burst on the scene with obviously a plus fastball, and we saw a couple, you know, outings, at least I did, where he just made, you know, some MVPs out there look mere mortal. But, you know, he's taken on a different role. There's not been any, you know, grumblings about where I'm being used, how I'm being used. He's gone a couple more than just an inning. We've seen him almost up and down and, you know, inning and 2/3. So, you know, it's great that he's embracing any type of role that Mike's going to deploy him in. I think it's a, you know, a bag of riches, really. It's not just Mason and Robert at the end. It's like I mentioned, Adam, Estrada, Maury Hone. You know, there's 5 guys deep. You're almost at the point where what happens when we're not winning? Who do we deploy? Type of thing. So it's nice that it's a good problem to have. Know that you have a lot of weapons. You just want to get to the postseason, because I think that's ultimately where we're going to get a chance to see these guys really shine. You know, you got 2 months where you don't want to, you know, go to the well too many times to fight for wins and worry about cleaning up some games.
A twofold question. Trevor Hoffman with us. A, can you imagine throwing 104? And then secondly, even in the big leagues, these hitters are so good at hitting fastballs that can you speak to the importance of just secondary pitches and having that? So even when you throw 104, you look at Mason Miller. I mean, he's got such a good slider. Like, you have to have that second pitch to be effective, right, in the major leagues.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. No, I cannot imagine throwing 104. I have a hard time going 104 in my car, which I know I should. But you know, you make a great point. Like, big league hitters, you give them enough time seeing it. You know, it's like driving 104 and you go back down to 55. It feels really slow, right? So these guys have an opportunity, really, that, you know, they've seen it and they can time you up. And Gurriel did exactly that. And so it's not so, for me, it's not so much the 104, fantastic to have in your back pocket. It's not so much a secondary. It's having a little bit of command with that 104. If you can, I mean, their ability to kind of ramp it up and try and hit it is a little bit different if that ball is on the inner third or outer third. So it's more about command of that heater that I saw in that particular at bat. That was not just, we can't just rear back and throw, because sooner or later a big league hitter is going to turn it around no matter how hard it is. That's kind of what we saw. But he has the ability, if we can command 102, back off a little bit and put it where we want it, and that's a win-win. And then to add on the devastating sliders you mentioned, it's another bag of riches. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you had a 104 fastball, that changeup would have looked even, crazier. I feel like it would have been literally, already unhittable as it is, but 104 from you, that would have scared a lot of hitters. This upcoming weekend, Trevor, Padres, Dodgers once again. It's the best rivalry in baseball. What's your opinion and your thoughts on this budding rivalry between these two teams?
Yeah, it's gotten a little testy, with good reason. They've faced each other the last couple of years, or 2 of the last 3 years in the playoffs. We know how important playoff baseball is, and some things have happened where, the scrutiny has been away from just playing the game. And we've had a couple dust ups where guys have wanted to come out in the middle of the field and chat about some things. I think that adds to the excitement. We're still considered the little brother to the Dodgers, and that's the way it is. Until you dethrone them and they can, kind of come after us, it's just part of it. But I like our club. I like their tenacity. They're not afraid of anybody. They're willing to do the little things to try and win ball games. And I think it's healthy for baseball. I think it's healthy for our fan bases to have this type of thing. I'm looking forward to, next weekend watching them if I can, amongst all the All-American Classic stuff with perfect game. But I know that they're coming down the next weekend, and or the next week. That should be a lot of fun too.
You mentioned managing. Ryan Klesko is going to manage on the opposite side in this upcoming game. Mike Schilt, obviously the Padres manager for his second year. When you look at the job that Mike Schilt has done from afar, what has impressed you the most over these last 2 years?
Yeah, I just think he stayed on point, honestly. You can tell he has his players' backs. He's going to go to the nth degree to protect them in that regard. But, there's not a lot coming out of that clubhouse that isn't positive. And, you can never go through a full season without some bumps along the road. And I give Mike a lot of credit and his staff a lot of credit for, really keeping to the grindstone and keeping guys in tune with what we're expecting of them, and keeping guys healthy, giving them a day when they want it. And sometimes it's hard to get a guy to take a day because they like the rhythm of the game and rhythm of the season. But for the most part, the things that I'm hearing coming out of our clubhouse are really positive.
This weekend, managing against Ryan Klesko, does the competitive juices start flying here? And is there any friendly wagers going on between you and Klesko on the other side?
You know what? He's going to want to have like push-ups on the line or something like that. He's going to be participating in the home run derby with the kids probably on Saturday. Yep. So that'll be fun to watch too. Like the guy's a constant energizer bunny. But, I think we're both just looking forward to seeing that next wave of kid coming through. I know he's got a young boy that's, teenager, high school age. And so he's pretty familiar with some of the kids that we'll see from the East Coast. But, I'm looking forward to getting out there and sharing, some of the things that we've been through with the kids. I know he's looking forward to that. And I think more than anything, it's going to be a great opportunity to love on the kids.
So again, this Sunday, the Dick's All-American Classic. It's at Petco, Perfect Game's premier game. Some of the top high school players in the country. Again, it's free to attend. First 1,000 fans receive a free poster with all the players on it. Enter at the home plate gate at Petco. There's also autograph opportunities with the MLB legends before the game, which is Sunday at 5 p.m. And you can find all the information at pgallamerican.com. That's pgallamerican.com. Trevor Hoffman, man, we appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoy this weekend. Hopefully you pick up a win, and we look forward to doing it again soon.
Guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, great
Thanks,
stuff. Trevor Hoffman, the Hall of Famer and the Padres legend. We'll react to that on the other side. By the way, tomorrow on the show, Phil Nevin will join us tomorrow. He will be there on one of these coaching staffs. I don't know if he's coaching with Trevor or coaching with Klesko. Tomorrow on the show, Phil Nevin will join us. And yes, spoiler alert, Ryan Klesko will be on the show this week as well to talk about Sunday's All-Star Game at Petco Park.
Yep. And spoiler alert, Mark Loretta will also be joining the show later this week as well.
And by the way, a baseball great, Tom Gordon, Flash Gordon, who is also part of this showcase, will join us later this week. So a great week of baseball alumni, some Padres legends joining us this week as well. Great to connect with Trevor Hoffman. Phil Nevin will join us tomorrow on John and Jim. Kevin AC at 5:30. We react on the other side. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Schilt, by the way, coming up. His pregame comments in San Francisco. Padres and Giants will play game one of their 3-game series at 6:45. Also, Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. Great to connect with the Hall of Famer.
How great is Trevor, by the way?
He is terrific. I mean, he's very personable in terms of he could do this. Now he's smart, which means he doesn't do this.
Right.
But he could do color commentating, he could do radio, he could do like he has all those traits that are necessary, plus he has the credentials to support it. And he's super knowledgeable. And you're talking about someone like a Mason Miller or the back of this bullpen, or hey, you were traded in season. What's it like for these guys that were just dealt at the deadline? Like, what does a player go through in that regard? So I found it to be really insightful.
What's cool also is, he keeps up with this team on a day in and day out basis. He knows everything about this team. He's helped out with this team in spring training as a special advisor, and he's around the team all the time.
Such a good point. Like, he's locked in. He's like breaking down, like he's like, well, on Friday this happened, on Saturday this happened. Yeah, so he's like everyone else.
Yeah, he could exactly. He is so knowledgeable of not only baseball, but just of this current Padres team, and he's kept in the know, and he's a part of the organization, and so yeah, it's just great to hear Trevor's thoughts on this team.
I mean, imagine honestly, like, if you are the Padres organization, I mean, the resource that Trevor Hoffman provides to you on a whim, potentially, like, can you imagine the value if you're Mason Miller in having the opportunity to either sit down with Trevor Hoffman in some capacity or just speak with him if you have a question about it? I mean, to have that resource available to you at a fingertip here in San Diego is incredibly useful, I would imagine. So, yeah, great to connect with them. Looking forward to this All-American game coming up this weekend as well.
Back to the point, could you imagine if Trevor had a 104?
Well, the point, and he made the point for me, and the thing is, and I've said this from the day I got started in the minor leagues. I used to work in the minor leagues. Worked there for 15 years. People I'm trying to make the analogy across sports. People get enamored with velocity. And he throws hard.
Yeah, but location is everything.
It's location and secondary stuff. How do you like yin and yang, mix and match? The combination between high velocity, hitting spots with good secondary pitches is the difference between AA and the Hall of Fame.
Like, if it's just hypothetical, if Trevor had 100, even if he had like 99.
Now, early on, he was high velocity.
Yeah,
guy.
he was, but then it dropped, obviously, and then the changeup, and so now the velocity, you're like, is that a fastball? Like, oh, it's a changeup, right? But if he could, dot his 99 or 100 along with that changeup, which was literally unhittable, I mean, game over.
Game over, 100%. But the amazing part to me is, like, you can have someone like Greg Maddux in a Hall of Fame.
You don't have to throw 105 to be a Hall of Fame.
Modern baseball has a lot of like max effort, high velocity guys, but yeah, it's more the mixing and matching of pitches with hitting spots, and you put that all together. But you look at some of the, and we both did this in preparing for this conversation. It's a little bit like Tony Gwynn. We do it more with Tony. We say, just look at the baseball reference page, right? And look at all the 300 seasons, this, that, and that. You see 600 saves on a baseball reference page. That sticks out, man. 600 saves.
Was the reason why the reliever of the year award is named after Trevor. Trevor.
I mean, it's just like, you go down, you see how hard it is. Like, look at Robert Suarez's career. Like, it's hard to have 30 save seasons, or it's hard to have a 40 save season. And then you see just 40, 40, 50, 40, 40, 40. It's just incredible to do it. And I guess one of the keys also is obviously staying out there, being healthy, being able to do it as long as Trevor did it. I mean, this is not that's not a short career, the amount of time that Trevor Hoffman pitched in the big leagues. So cool to connect with him. Looking forward to catching up with Phil Nevin tomorrow. And then Mark Loretta later in the week. And also we'll have Ryan Klesko join us later in the week. And we'll have Flash Gordon joining us this week as well. And again, if you missed what we talked about earlier, it's because the All-American game, this is Perfect Games All-American game, the Dick's All-American Classic. It's at Petco Park on Sunday. And you can get there. It's at 5 p.m. It's a free event. You can get some autographs from Hall of Famers like Trevor Hoffman. So get there Sunday at 5 p.m.
When When did the Padres play the Dodgers on Sunday?
Play at 1, I want to say. So this will
1:10.
be after.
Yeah.
This will be a good hour after that. You know, the average MLB game right now is like 2:40. So let's say that game ends by 4. All right, that's a 3-hour game. You still make your way down to Petco. This game starts at 5. It's free. Walk in.
Or go down to a bar, watch the game near Petco,
That's a
and
great
you're
point.
right there, and you can just walk in and watch this game.
Dude, the bars this weekend, it's a really good point. I mean, the next 2 weekends, yes, you got road games at Dodger Stadium, but you got watch parties essentially all weekend long.
Yep.
And then a week from this weekend, next weekend, you've got Padres and Dodgers here at Petco Park.
That's going to be electric, man.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's like
There's games in between that. That's the thing. Is like
Those
it's not
Giants games,
just
the Trop
right
games.
now. It's there's 7 games between those
Here's the thing.
series.
I'll be honest with you. I was a fan of the universal schedule. I like the idea of the Padres playing the Yankees and the Red Sox every year, but I kind of miss that you don't see like 12 or 13 games against the Dodgers in the regular season, Jim. You go months without seeing them. They didn't even meet until the middle of June, and now they're not meeting again after August. So, I mean, maybe they have more in the line because they don't meet as frequently, but I'm not opposed to seeing them square off more often. Maybe we'll get that in October, but it almost feels like with this being such a good rivalry, like I'm not afraid to like see more series between these two teams. You get just 4 all year.
Do you think it would dilute the rivalry a little bit if you know the Padres played the Dodgers so
18
much?
or 19? Maybe. I mean, I feel like it started
Like less is more in a sense.
maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. It's
like,
possible.
Like it's not like every other weekend. Like we're gearing up for it, and it makes these series
maybe
maybe more impactful
But-
or more meaningful for the rivalry.
But don't you agree after the way last year ended to not meet until June was weird? Like last year ends in the playoffs and then you don't play until like June 15th. That to me was weird. And then this year you've got teams that you might have a division race the final weekend of the year and you haven't met the Dodgers until the middle of August. Just I kind of wish they met earlier and then maybe even met later.
But
as
also,
well.
if there was not a balanced schedule, then the Dodgers would be playing the Rockies a bunch of times. And if the Dodgers played well against you, like you don't have a chance.
If the Dodgers played well against you.
And then they also play
Yeah,
the Rockies for
yeah,
as many times as
yeah, I
they do
gotcha.
play them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I get your point.
You know, so
All right, we're going to hear from Mike Schilt coming up. In addition, Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, will join us at 5:30. And if you missed our conversation with Trevor Hoffman, you'll hear that coming up later in the show as well. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. We'll start with the Padres coming off of their series win against the Red Sox this past weekend. They start a 3-game series up in the Bay against the Giants. 6:45 first pitch tonight. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Pods against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues their hot streak on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City over the weekend. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road matches in its first season, and kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener on Thursday, August 28th for Stony Brook. Kickoff time will be at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. No subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, challenged us, who just made learning fun. Now's your chance to say thank you to Big Way with iHeartRadio's Thank You Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, Laura Ayala, who teaches at Logan Memorial Educational in San Diego, and who people told us Laura is an amazing teacher. She has been teaching in the same community for over 30 years. She's a mentor and a leader to our teaching community. Congrats, Laura. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Congrats, Laura.
And believe it or not, today is the first day of school for many in San Diego County, including my first grader.
How was that?
All the emotions in the world, but it was great. I mean, he went to kindergarten at the same school, so it's good to be at the same school with a lot of the same kindergartners that are now first graders. But dude,
was Kristen a wreck this morning?
She was a wreck. It's like, you know what they say? It's like, what do they say? The days are long, but the years are short. And anyone who's a parent understands that.
Mm-hmm.
So true. It's like you're in the midst of it and you have like a 7-week-old and you're like, what on earth? Like,
what's happening right now?
What have we gotten ourselves into? And then you kind of blink and you've got a 5-year-old, and then you blink and you've got a 7-year-old. It's just so insane.
I think that's just early. I think by the time he's in like 4th grade, you guys will be pushing him out the door to go to school. Be like, hey, good, school starting. Go.
Best day of the year, school starting.
I will say, like, don't you guys? August 11th, man, that is early. Isn't that?
I remember me starting school in August.
Okay, maybe later though.
Like probably later, but that September is like you're fully in it.
Yeah.
But I definitely remember I would end in
early June or late May,
like May, and start in late August.
Yeah. Which is fine. You end earlier. It just feels like what do you mean you're back at school? We're in the middle of the summer. You know, it's hot out. It's August 11th.
Well, at our age now, it's like the school timeline or school year. I don't get it unless you have a kid. But if you don't have a kid, you're like, what's happening right now?
No attention to it. Yeah, completely. Exactly. Anyway, happy return of school here in San Diego County. All right, so we're getting ready. Have we heard from Mike Schilt? Let me check because Jim doesn't know.
I don't get the emails.
You don't get the emails. Now, this game isn't, a 6:45 start, so I would think we'd get some audio from Mike Schilt maybe around 5 p.m. or a little before 5. So when we get that, we'll share that with you. If you missed Trevor Hoffman, by the way, we'll play it back for you at 5 p.m. And then Kevin Acey will join us live at 5:30.
I do want to talk about this real quick because James is a loyal viewer and listener of this show. He had a question for us about on, what was it, Saturday night?
Okay.
You know where I'm going to go with this, where one of the coaches in the Red Sox dugout was shown on television with like an iPad and a video or a picture of Robert Suarez, and it showed him 2 different images, and it said one image was a fastball, the other image was a changeup.
Right.
And it showed the stance in his delivery, and he looked like Robert Suarez looked a little different for a fastball and a changeup. Like, it's a slight difference.
Yep.
But it's a big enough difference for major league hitters to probably notice that. And so in turn, it's like, is Robert Suarez tipping some of his pitches here?
Right. It's funny you say that because that's where I would have gone with it. Like, other people made it to be, oh my gosh, the Red Sox are stealing signs.
No.
All of the iPad technology in dugouts is legal by baseball.
100% legal.
They're not bringing their own iPads and this is what Major League Baseball is providing them with video from the game. They can then use it in whatever means that are allowable. One of the allowable means is you can go back and review pitches within the game. And if you are picking up on something, I mean, that's fair game. What I've always said about sign stealing, by the way, it's on the team that is making the mistake to correct it, unless you're at the point where you're using like what Houston was doing in the late 2010s. I mean, when you're going above and beyond and doing something that's literally illegal, well, then it's on that team. But when it's within the like rules of the game, so to speak, if you're tipping, you got to figure it out and figure it out quick. With all that being said, this has ended up on the Abel's desk and Suarez's iPad and AJ Preller's desk.
They've addressed it.
And you address it and you adapt to it. And with that being said, there'll be another instance where, well, look at Dylan Cease. When he throws breaking pitches, he does this on the mound and so on and so forth. There's the cat and mouse game. So I don't make much of it as long as you recognize it's occurring. If you don't know it's occurring, it's a huge, huge issue. Once you recognize it's occurring, it's something that should be rectified.
Yeah, I think for fans out there that don't understand like if this is okay or not, it's 100% legal, because what every team has to do is have their iPads checked and their images checked by Major League Baseball before they can use them.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 100% legal. If anything, you should be not upset at the Padres, but just like, hey, all right, you guys need to fix this. And at least now it was just got thrown out there in the open, thanks to, I think, John Boy is the person that blew this up.
Yep.
I saw some Padres fans tweeting it out, but John Boy talked about it. And it's a good thing, because now the Padres will address it, and they'll address it with Robert Suarez, and they'll make sure that, you know, his setup for his fastball and his setup for his changeup are the same.
I mean, and how ridiculous, like, for the people that think the Red Sox were cheating, for example,
they're not.
Like, the dude is in the dugout with like a 14-inch wide iPad, handing the dugout to the hit, or the iPad to the hitter. Like, this would be the worst possible illegal, like, like, it's in plain day. It's the dumbest thing of all time. But what Major League Baseball has done a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, post Astros, there were all types of things being done. The Red Sox might have been involved in it. Remember 4 or 5 years ago?
Alex Cora was like a huge part of that.
Yeah, but what's happened on the other side of it is, like, here's the technology that's permissible. Mm-hmm. All 30 teams have access to it. Beyond that, whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is not the first time, by the way, this has come up with the Padres. This idea of tipping pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, this has happened.
This is on the Padres.
Yeah, it's on the Padres.
This is on the Padres to change it. And I think they should be happy that this got out, because if it didn't, maybe Suarez would continue to be tipping his pitches potentially.
Right. And even tipping pitches, it's not like Suarez on Saturday night was hit ridiculously hard. He allowed a run in an inning. He did.
But it is interesting, like, if there's a slight difference in his delivery or a slight difference in his setup, you know, he's got 2 pitches. And if you're sitting on fastball, like, you know what I mean?
Point.
It just makes it that much easier for the hitter.
It's not you, Darvish.
No.
Where you, like, he has 6 pitches. It's like, if you know what pitch is coming because he only throws 2. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. So yeah, I didn't think much of it, because I feel like we've had the conversation before, which is like, if you are tipping pitches, you have to rectify it. It's on you.
Yeah. When I saw that, I didn't really think anything other than, all right, well, at least the Padres now know about it.
You know what we haven't touched on today when it comes to Padres and Giants is really just like you, Darvish. I mean, we touched on it briefly earlier. You look at what Darvish has done since returning from that lengthy IL stint, and there's been that one really good outing, right? He went 7 scoreless at home, and that was against the Mets. Other than that, in his 5 other starts, I mean, his last outing, 4 innings, 3 runs. The outing before the 7 shutout innings, he allowed 8 runs in 3 innings. He allowed 3 runs in 5 innings, 4 runs in 4 2/3, 2 runs in 3 2/3. I mean, it's at least something to consider. Like, Darvish, I mean, is he going to look like you, Darvish, in the second half of the year? Hopefully tonight's that night. He's done it once. In one of his 6 starts, he's been excellent. In the other 5, it's been underwhelming. So I want to have more confidence in you, Darvish, moving forward. I think that's fair to say. And I'm curious to see how he pitches tonight in San Francisco.
Yeah, he's like the wild card here for the rest of the season because you don't really know what you're going to get from him.
I have no idea.
And I don't even know if he's fully healthy. Like I think there's something wrong with his arm because he had to change his arm slot. Mike Schultz out there talking about courage and bravery with him back on the mound.
True.
He's struggled. He's had one good outing, and he's not throwing more than like 83 pitches in an outing.
Yep.
And this is now his what? I think you just said it.
This will be his seventh.
His seventh start. Back.
5 have not been good.
5 have not been good. 1 been really good.
Yep.
But the pitch count, you're like, interesting.
Yeah, it's a good point. So pitch count 63, 83, 69, 69.
Nice.
76, 72. Yeah, he's throwing no pitches. Now, Trevor Hoffman just said something interesting about the bullpen. It's like, well, just get them there healthy and then deploy them. I mean, maybe the same strategy for you, Darvish, but how confident are you going to be if Darvish goes into the postseason where right now, for example, he's got a 6.51? I mean, you'll feel no confidence with a 6.51. But even if, let's say you went there, Jim, with a 4.99, I think it's very possible because that's lowering your ERA a good amount. But let's say you went there with a 4.99.
Well, we're a ways away. I mean, he could have a great September and
have 4.59.
Yeah, a lot of things could happen. Like, what if Nick Pivetta has a bad September? Do you trust Nick Pivetta to go be your game 1 starter? What if Dylan Cease has a lights out September? You're gonna make him your game. Like, there's so many things that could happen here. The good thing is they have options, and I think whatever option they choose will be the right one for the team going forward. And of course, we'll probably nitpick if it doesn't go right. But as long as those 4 dudes stay healthy, there's good options everywhere. Like, that is the biggest key here. The last 2 postseasons the Padres have gone into where you really thought, all right, this team can make a push. What did they not have? A 4th starter.
Right. Well, they lost their 4th starter last year in the postseason.
They lost their 4th starter, or they didn't even lose him.
I mean,
you had Clevenger and Minaya as your 4th starter in 2022. That was a train wreck in Philadelphia.
Right. Last year you had it until you lost Joe Musgrove.
Yeah. I don't think a 4th starter would have meant they won the World Series in 2022 and in 2024. But I think that, having Dylan Cease go on short rest last year because you lost Joe, having to have to go to Clevenger and Minaya in Philadelphia
that was bad.
In 2022. It's like the same thing we talked about with this lineup this year. It's like, can you just fill in the holes of their 7, 8, and 9 hitters? It won't mean like they're going to automatically win every game, but it gives them a way better chance than what they have.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thought process going into a postseason with 3 starters compared to 4 starters.
Yeah, it's a good point. Even 2020, of course, the Padres had like truly no starters in their 2020 postseason run. All right, we have a giveaway for you on the other side we'll tell you about. If you missed Trevor Hoffman, you'll hear a conversation at 5 p.m. And at 5:30, our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, joins us from San Francisco, where the Padres and Giants will play game 1 of their 3-game series tonight at 6:45. We're here until 6. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, so if you're maxed out on credit cards or struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. It's the Rapid Equity Loan program. It really is amazing at Loan Pronto. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Just a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity, it's yours, so use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now, start the conversation. Here's the number, 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. All right, the iHeartRadio Music Festival back. Live performances by Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, and more. September 19th and 20th at T-Mobile in Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Tickets at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. While the world is listening on iHeart, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending money. Next chance to text and win happens at 9 a.m. on San Diego Sports 760. Get all the info at sportssd.com/festival. Trevor Hoffman at 5 p.m. If you missed our conversation with the Padres legend, the Hall of Famer, Kevin Acee will join us live coming up at 5:30. We also have a giveaway today, Jim. And I think I'm saying this right. Michael Franti. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see Michael Franti. If I'm saying it wrong, call me or us. August 16th, Cal Coast Credit Union Open Air Theater. We'll give those away between now and 5 p.m. So we're going to do that. And we're still waiting to hear from Mike Schultz.
We're still waiting to hear from Mike Schultz. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's going to call us, but I'm saying like him with the media. I'm refreshing, and yeah, we're still waiting to hear from Mike Schultz. Did we get to the wrap?
No, we didn't.
We didn't get to the wrap.
No, I was going to tell you we need to get to the wrap.
Let's get to the wrap. In a moment.
Time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Are you two going to apologize to Xander Bogaerts?
Apologize for what? Telling the truth and giving our opinions? No, I'm not going to apologize for that.
No, Jim's doubling down.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not going to apologize for giving my opinion. That's what I'm paid to do. But it's nice to see Xander performing, and it's nice to see Xander really helping this team win.
Listen, here's what I would say about Xander. I'm going to be more willing to ride with the ebb and flow of the next 6 weeks. I'm not going to, if he goes over 4 tonight, oh, here we go.
No, exactly. No overreaction.
So let's let this thing play out.
Yeah.
He's been very productive. RBIs in 5 of his last 7 games, home runs in 3 of his last 5. He's been very, very good. They need him, hopefully in October, so hopefully it continues. But yeah, I mean, no apology. We're just offering our opinion, but he's been very good for this team. Next question.
What will Yu Darvish's final line be tonight?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to try to speak it into existence. 5 innings.
You say 9 or 5?
It's at 5, John. 5 and 9 don't sound the same. Kinda.
You don't think he's going 9?
He might go 10.
Such a hater.
Apologize to Darvish.
Yeah, exactly.
5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 87 pitches.
Ooh. How many runs did you say?
2.
You know what? I'll one-up you.
Okay.
6 innings.
Okay.
3 hits. 1 run it was earned. It was a home run. 1 walk. 5 strikeouts.
And let me ask you this. Why do you hate Yu Darvish?
Dude, you said he was going to blow up and allow 2 runs in 5 innings and have like the worst outing of his career.
Okay, fair point.
6 innings tonight from Yu Darvish against the Giants in San Francisco. Next question.
Should Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' starting QB in Week 1?
Yes.
What are their options?
What they got Kenny. No, they have Kenny.
Lots of them.
They got Kenny Pickett, right?
Yeah.
They got Joe Flacco. They got Gabriel. What's his first name? From
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. And they got Shedeur. The weirdest quarterback room ever.
Very weird.
And Deshaun Watson.
And Deshaun Watson, but he's hurt though,
Yeah, I
right?
was gonna say he's hurt, yeah.
Tyler Huntley.
Dude, it's just the most random quarterback room ever. If you don't start Shedeur, you're going to get blasted with the Shedeur question every single week, and your fan base and sports talk radio in Cleveland is only going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. If you start Shedeur, then you get out of the way early to know if he's good or not. And then if he's not good, you can move on.
Here's my question, because he obviously will make starts for the Browns in 2025. Will he make starts in the future in the NFL, or is this just because you would only start in this scenario, the Cleveland Browns of 2025? They're about to go 3-14. Like, so is it out of just like necessity and desperation? How well is he going to play?
I don't know.
Because Vegas isn't stupid. I mean, what's a good scenario for the Browns with a rookie quarterback in Shedeur Sanders? A few wins?
It's not about wins. I think it's more about just like how he plays.
But is he
the wins to me
well
doesn't
if they're losing a lot? Is that likely? He
Eventually,
plays really
yes.
well and they're losing.
Oh well, I mean, who knows? I just think that if Shedeur goes out there and his first preseason game was fantastic, and you saw the stuff, you're like, oh, okay. But if he goes out there and he plays well and they still lose, I don't think it matters. I think the most important thing is go out there, look good, make all the throws, and don't look like, a 4th round quarterback.
Was he taking the 4th round?
Yes.
Just looking at the Browns' schedule, they play all teams better than them.
Correct.
So it's not going to be easy, is the point. What do you got, bro?
Yeah, it's one of those things, too, where it's the first week of preseason. What if he comes out in week 2 and sucks?
Right.
Is everyone going to be like,
the thing.
oh, he should be starting? Like, no, okay, maybe we were right.
Game. You're right. In his first 2 or something.
Not everyone can be Dak Prescott.
Such a good point. Next question.
Well, Fernando hit 25 homers this year.
He's got 17 right now. That might be tough, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's definitely tough.
So he needs to hit 8 over the final month and a half.
Look at you. That's great.
Math.
On the fly like that?
I know. Math. I'm going to go with no. I don't think he's.
Why do you hate?
There we go, man. Why do we hate Fernando Tatis Jr.? I don't. Hope I'm wrong. But
Right.
man, 8 home runs and that's gonna take a lot of work from Tatis. So what have we seen from Fernando Tatis Jr. over the last 2+ months that would lend you to believe he's gonna hit all of a sudden 8 home runs in this final month and a half here, when he's got 4 since May 28th?
It's definitely possible. It's not some 1 in 100. We all agree. It just seems hard to envision because of the 4 home run stat that we keep referencing, like you just said, since May 28th. So is it impossible? No, because he's had 8 home run months repeatedly, but it's been a while. Now I say a while. I think he had 8 through April this year. He probably had more than 8 through April.
Is he
including
capable?
March.
You're right. Yes, he is definitely
Fully
capable.
It's just like, does he
Do it?
Dude, I'm with you. I'll ride the fence there and say, I'll say it's 24 and a half home runs.
And that half home run is going to be electric.
The Padres are probably going to be led in home runs by, as we've talked about, Manny Machado, but he's not even pacing right now for 30 home runs, right? Isn't Machado still on 20 home runs? So he's only like the true pace of Machado is probably more in the 26. Not to say it can't be picked up, but there's only 44 games left. So in 118, like I'm the math guy, if you've hit 20 in 118, you know what that means? It means you're pacing to hit 26 home runs. Yeah. So he could pick it up. And this goes back to, I'd love to know the answer to this. What are the fewest home runs a team has ever hit and won a World Series in modern baseball, not the 1888, Black Sox, but like what's a modern example of a team to hit, I don't know, 120 home runs or fewer and win a World Series? Again, has it happened? Yes. This has been some very good pitching on World Series winning teams, but it seems like it's not something that happens each and every year.
I'm asking ChatGPT.
Does ChatGPT know?
The fewest home runs hit by a team in a 162 game regular season that went on to win the World Series is 55 by the 1948 Cleveland Indians. In the modern era,
give me modern.
The lowest total belongs to the 1982 St. Louis Cardinals, who hit just 67 home runs.
Wow.
Beat the Brewers.
That's insane. But it was like a run-oriented game back then. That's insane.
That is crazy. The 10 most recent World Series winners that hit the fewest home runs in regular season. These are all from the 80s.
Right.
What about the last 15 years? Let's see here. ChatGPT is searching the web, John.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious.
Here we go. The last 15 with the lowest total of home runs. The Giants in 2012 were 30th in baseball, the lowest.
Wow.
And they won the World Series.
Do you know how many they hit?
It doesn't say. Wait, hold on.
What year?
How many did
this is good radio.
2012 Giants hit?
Yeah, just ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
They hit 103.
All right, so the Padres are going to hit more than that. And the Giants in the last 13 years have won a World Series hitting 103 home runs. So it's possible, to your point.
Right. It's possible for sure. It just, it only it happened 13 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. All right, if you missed Trevor Hoffman, you're going to hear from the Hall of Famer on the other side. Plus, coming up at 5:30, our Padres insider Kevin Acee from San Francisco joins the show live. Hour 4, John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres took 2 of 3 over the weekend from the Red Sox. They start a 3-game series up in the Bay against the San Francisco Giants tonight. 6:45 first pitch. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to roll on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road matches in its first MLS season, and kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener on Thursday, August 28th versus Stony Brook. Kickoff will be at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. Progressive Insurance says if you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Get a quote for renter's insurance at progressive.com.
We're celebrating the Padres past.
It's Padres Legends and Alumni Week on San Diego Sports 760. Listen as John and Jim speak with some of your favorite former Friars.
Outside play, quickly called. 500 feet. 500. Count it. Boy, that's a big number up on the scoreboard out there.
Now, live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760,
It's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of John and Jim. We're going to hear from Mike Schilt in about 15 minutes with the media before Giants and Padres, and Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. But if you missed it earlier, the Padres great. The Baseball Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman, he joined us. We started the conversation talking about Sunday's Dick's All-American Classic. It's at Petco Park. It's Perfect Game's premier high school game. It's got some of the best high school players in the country. It's at Petco. Attendance is free. And you can get all the info at pgallamerican.com. And we started the conversation by saying Trevor Hoffman's done everything but manage. He's actually going to manage in this game. How much is he looking forward to that?
You're right. I've only engaged more as an ambassador role leading up to this point, but they've asked myself and Ryan Klesko, a couple of Padre alums, to participate in managing the East and the West clubs. And I think more than anything, it's given us a chance to kind of get in the dugout and really have an opportunity to be around the kids on a more organic way. It's not just, okay, I'm rolling around in a suit or a tie and, there's that guy that they said played here in San Diego, versus now they're going to get a chance to kind of go, hey, what was it like playing here? What was this place? What did downtown look like before Petco was here? And it'll be some neat conversations. I'm looking forward to seeing the next wave of young talent come through.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend here at Petco Park Sunday at 5 p.m. Taking a look at this Padres team. I saw you were at the game over the weekend. A lot of moves that AJ made at the trade deadline. Padres are making another run. What's your take on this year's Padres team and their chances to win the first World Series in franchise history?
That's the goal. Got to give AJ a lot of credit. 2 years in a row now, he's kind of sat back and watched the first half unfold and realized there's a couple areas that he wanted to try and upgrade, and maybe not upgrade, but just give us an opportunity to have some flexibility. And, he did it 2 years in a row. He solidified our bullpen last year with Tanner Scott and Jason Adam coming over. Did it again with Mason add another piece of the bullpen there, helped out in left field behind the dish. And so I give him a lot of credit for, finding out some of the things, and I'm sure he's discussing with Mike as far as what the vibe is in the clubhouse and what they both feel like they need. But, I give him credit for not worrying about what prospects look like, if they are ever going to look like in our uniform. It's an opportunity to go out and make our club better now. And that's, it's certainly provided a lot of excitement. As you mentioned, I was at the game against the Red Sox on Saturday, and I was thankful I wasn't chowing a hot dog down while the camera was on, but, it's good. It's good to be a part of seeing the Padres win a lot.
Going to games, do you still get nervous watching this team play? Like, I know obviously you have the ties here with the Padres, but like watching from afar, do you still get nervous when you watch this team?
No, I don't get nervous. I get excited more than anything. I think, you can see the game unfold. You can kind of realize, okay, if the score stays here, if we maintain the lead here, then we're just going to get a chance to roll the back end of the pen and close this thing down. And, I do reflect like, oh man, it was pretty cool when, this time of the game, you got to anticipate the phone call, or you kind of anticipate getting ready. I'm thankful I don't have to worry about that anymore. The juices are good there, but the body just won't. That's not happening anymore. I'll let Robert and Mason and everyone else take care of that.
Perfect.
Trevor Hoffman with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Again, you can get to Petco this Sunday at 5. The Dick's All-American Classic. Perfect Game's premier game. Some of the top high school players in the country. It is a free admission event. More information at pgallamerican.com. So, Trevor, this time of year, I mean, again, the movement of players at the deadline, you never fully know how it's going to work. Take us back to your career. I mean, you were traded in the middle of a year, right? When you ended up in San Diego, it wasn't right at the deadline, but it was in the middle of a year. What's that like for a player, and what does it take to kind of take some of these pieces that are added in at a deadline and the job of Mike Schilt to point the whole team in the right direction?
You know what? That's a really good question, and it's a great point. I think we immediately want people to, mesh with the clubhouse and come out firing and do all the things that we saw you doing and maybe in the other uniform, and do that again here. And we're not robots, and so there is this little lag where you kind of got to figure out where you're going to live. You got to figure out your family situation, maybe button up the hatches at the last place you came from, and so it's just not the smoothest of transitions for guys. It does take a little bit of time, but you're certainly excited because you're coming into an opportunity to be a part of a playoff run, and a little bit about the players that you're coming in to meet. You're recognizing where the club's at. They're fighting for a division championships, or their expectations are to win a pennant and to get to the World Series, and ultimately have that happen in San Diego for the first time. So there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes, but all we worry about is the wins on the field. And I know that these guys coming out of spring training were a pretty tight-knit group. The staff did an amazing job of, explaining where we're at as an organization. We're not 2 years ago where we're kind of learning the lingo and we're learning what type of team we are. A couple years into it now, you have the leadership of the guys on the field. Manny's healthy. It's having a great year. It's things that you expect of a club that's been together for a little while. And I think we're starting to see that. And these added pieces, they're going to fit right in, and hopefully they can roll and make a good run here.
One of the new pieces, Mason Miller. What's been your impressions of him so far?
Mason, I think, is a guy that he cut his teeth up in Sacramento with the Athletics, a little bit of time in Oakland. Burst on the scene with obviously a plus fastball, and we saw a couple outings, at least I did, where he just made some MVPs out there look mere mortal, but he's taken on a different role. There's not been any grumblings about where I'm being used, how I'm being used. He's gone a couple more than just an inning. We've seen him almost up and down and inning and 2/3. So it's great that he's embracing any type of role that Mike's going to deploy him in. I think it's a bag of riches, really. It's not just Mason and Robert at the end. It's, like I mentioned, Adam, Estrada, Maury Hone. There's 5 guys deep. You're almost at the point where what happens when we're not winning? Who do we deploy? Type of thing. So it's nice that it's a good problem to have. Know that you have a lot of weapons. You just want to get to the postseason, because I think that's ultimately where we're going to get a chance to see these guys really shine. You got 2 months where you don't want to go to the well too many times to fight for wins and worry about cleaning up some games.
A twofold question. Trevor Hoffman with us. A, can you imagine throwing 104? And then secondly, even in the big leagues, these hitters are so good at hitting fastballs that can you speak to the importance of just secondary pitches and having that? So even when you throw 104, you look at Mason Miller. I mean, he's got such a good slider. Like, you have to have that second pitch to be effective, right, in the major leagues.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. No, I cannot imagine throwing 104. I have a hard time going 104 in my car, which I know I should. But you make a great point. Like, big league hitters, you give them enough time seeing it. It's like driving 104 and you go back down to 55. It feels really slow, right? So these guys have an opportunity, really, that they've seen it and they can time you up. And Gurriel did exactly that. And so for me, it's not so much the 104. Fantastic to have in your back pocket. It's not so much a secondary. It's having a little bit of command with that 104. If you can, their ability to kind of ramp it up and try and hit it is a little bit different if that ball is on the inner third or outer third. So it's more about command of that heater that I saw in that particular at bat. that was not just, we can't just rear back and throw, because sooner or later a big league hitter is going to turn it around no matter how hard it is. That's kind of what we saw. But he has the ability, if we can command 102, back off a little bit and put it where we want it, and that's a win-win. And then to add on the devastating sliders you mentioned, it's another bag of riches. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you had a 104 fastball, that changeup would have looked even, crazier. I feel like it would have been literally, already unhittable as it is, but 104 from you, that would have scared a lot of hitters. This upcoming weekend, Trevor, Padres, Dodgers once again. It's the best rivalry in baseball. What's your opinion and your thoughts on this budding rivalry between these two teams?
Yeah, it's gotten a little testy, with good reason. They've faced each other the last couple of years, or 2 of the last 3 years in the playoffs. We know how important playoff baseball is, and some things have happened where, the scrutiny has been away from just playing the game. And we've had a couple dust ups where guys have wanted to come out in the middle of the field and chat about some things. I think that adds to the excitement. We're still considered the little brother to the Dodgers, and that's the way it is. Until you dethrone them and they can, kind of come after us, it's just part of it. But I like our club. I like their tenacity. They're not afraid of anybody. They're willing to do the little things to try and win ball games. And I think it's healthy for baseball. I think it's healthy for our fan bases to have this type of thing. I'm looking forward to, next weekend watching them if I can, amongst all the All-American Classic stuff with perfect game. But I know that they're coming down the next weekend, and the next week. That should be a lot of fun too.
You mentioned managing. Ryan Klesko is going to manage on the opposite side in this upcoming game. Mike Schilt, obviously the Padres manager for his second year. When you look at the job that Mike Schilt has done from afar, what has impressed you the most over these last 2 years?
Yeah, I just think he stayed on point, honestly. You can tell he has his players' backs. He's going to go to the nth degree to protect them in that regard. But, there's not a lot coming out of that clubhouse that isn't positive. And, you never go through a full season without some bumps along the road. And I give Mike a lot of credit and his staff a lot of credit for, really keeping to the grindstone and keeping guys in tune with what we're expecting of them, and keeping guys healthy, giving them a day when they want it. And sometimes it's hard to get a guy to take a day because they like the rhythm of the game and rhythm of the season. But for the most part, the things that I'm hearing coming out of our clubhouse are really positive.
This weekend, managing against Ryan Klesko, does the competitive juices start flying here? And is there any friendly wagers going on between you and Klesko on the other side?
You know what? He's going to want to have like push-ups on the line or something like that. He's going to be participating in the home run derby with the kids probably on Saturday. Yep. So that'll be fun to watch too. Like the guy's a constant energizer bunny. But, I think we're both just looking forward to seeing that next wave of kid coming through. I know he's got a young boy that's, teenager, high school age. And so he's pretty familiar with some of the kids that we'll see from the East Coast. But, I'm looking forward to getting out there and sharing, some of the things that we've been through with the kids. I know he's looking forward to that. And I think more than anything, it's going to be a great opportunity to love on the kids.
So again, this Sunday, the Dick's All-American Classic. It's at Petco, Perfect Game's premier game. Some of the top high school players in the country. Again, it's free to attend. First 1,000 fans receive a free poster with all the players on it. Enter at the home plate gate at Petco. There's also autograph opportunities with the MLB legends before the game, which is Sunday at 5 p.m. And you can find all the information at pgallamerican.com. That's pgallamerican.com. Trevor Hoffman, man, we appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoy this weekend. Hopefully you pick up a win, and we look forward to doing it again soon.
Guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
On the other side, we're going to hear from Mike Schilt in San Francisco with the media. Kevin Acey at 5:30. Don't go anywhere. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin Acey's going to join us live at 5:30. We'll see how long Jim can go here without speaking. Just re-aired a conversation with Trevor Hoffman. Mike Schilt with the media in San Francisco sat down for a handful of minutes and started by providing his thoughts on this stretch of upcoming games for the Padres.
Think about today. I really, I know people we're aware of the schedule, but personally I think it's a huge mistake to start thinking about a big picture thing when you have an opportunity to focus on today. And that's what we're going to do.
Is that the message you send? No, I imagine your vets are used to hearing it from you, but the younger guys, do they see it that way?
I think we all see it that way. We're a very present group. Just we don't try. We look to be prepared every day and go compete and be in the moment.
Just one more from me, side thought. On David Morgan, you've touched on him before. Specifically, what are you seeing from him that's caught your eye? Any surprises or expectations met or exceeded?
Listen, we didn't have as much history with him. He came in spring training and wasn't in big league camp and backed up some games, and always appreciated the way he came in and just his presence when he came in the game, took the ball and went to go compete. So you're like, this guy's aggressive and he's got a good arm. And then of course he went out in the season and started his minor league season and pitched very well and earned his way to the big leagues. And I've said repeatedly, he doesn't make situations bigger than they are. He's got a nice arm. He's got good movement to his pitches. He throws strikes. He's got secondary pitches that are all very solid to plus, and he just goes and pitches and is aware of what he's doing and who he's doing it against.
The number of high leverage guys that you have can obviously pitch to the back of games. What does the day-to-day look like in terms of communicating with them when they might pitch in that game, so that when they get the call, it's kind of like it's never a surprise?
We've done it since day one. I don't think I know every single guy in that bullpen knows where his lanes are and where the possibilities he can show up. Some have more possibilities. Morgan has more possibilities relative to earlier or later. But we talk every day, me, Ruben, Fritzy, Brian Esposito, our bench coaches in there. We meet every day before the game and lay out pretty clear what we think the game's going to go and where guys can show up relative to situations. Then that's communicated to the players, and the players do their homework, and then there's not a ton of surprises. And, of course, that changes every day based on availability.
Is that communication with players, done through Ruben, or how does that?
It's done through Fritzy. Yeah. Like I said, the guys go out and play catch, guys being the relievers. We come in and meet before the series, to meet before every game, right before the series, the game starts, and go through and check, the availability and who can go and who can get maybe a 1+, or who's just going to be able to get out of an inning, or who can get a full inning. And so there's awareness of that to put the puzzle together. And then we go through and calibrate the other teams, where they're at and where we think the best matchups are. And then we game plan a little bit. If this guy could show up in the 6th or 7th, this guy could show up in the 7th or 8th, this guy could start here, finish there. Okay, he can't get out of an inning, or he can get another inning. We're aware of all those things. And then Fritzy takes it, communicates with the relievers. And that's why they don't have to get as hot as consistently. They can start their plyo balls and get stretched and all the different things to allow them to get ready to go compete and not being very surprised. That help you? Okay. Hey, how are you? How you doing? Good. Good. Welcome.
Before the break, Freddie Freeman took me through a little bit of his first half struggles and how he worked through that. I'm curious how you approach a guy you're managing who maybe a young guy differently than a veteran who's going through a little rough patch. And have you seen a certain player over the years who's really figured out how to work through that?
I think every player gains more experience and figures out how to deal with the challenges that are 162 games plus schedule. It's real. The schedule is, it's ebbs and flows, and there's going to be that with the human factor of this. And you do try to, from my seat, always the starting point, just be supportive. Just the biggest thing is supportive and create relationships with players. Then you know how to best communicate with them and what they need or what they don't need. Sometimes they don't want a whole lot. Sometimes they need something. And then more specifically is what they may need as far as, encouragement about what, and with our staff to work on to keep a little more clarity. It says, okay, we need to work on, a little more play zone discipline, the ball up, breaking balls, etc. And I don't think I know that's what we use a lot of the analytics side of before. So it's a combination of things, but mostly it's about relationship and trust.
Yeah. Some guy who's maybe new to the big leagues, who's been a star in the minor leagues. There can be a little bit of an adjustment period, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think there's definitely a learning curve to this, and it's the one thing. From my seat, it's also there's a trust, like I said, to it. There's a patience to it. If you see the work going well and you see the quality of the bat staying consistent, and you see the right intent, then at least from my chair, you can go, okay, we're working towards something. If you start to see, frustration, you start to see, somebody feeling a little lost, now we got to maybe adjust a little bit of the time that's on the field.
I'd love to get Jim's thoughts on that, but there's no time. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us on the other side from San Francisco. He'll get us ready for tonight, game one of this 3-game series. Yu Darvish on the mound. Do we dare mention these 3 words? Fernando Tatis Jr. to Kevin Acee, our Padres insider. He'll join us next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Padres start a 3-game series with the San Francisco Giants tonight up in the Bay. 6:45 first pitch. Yu Darvish on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. SDFC continues to stay hot on the road, picking up 3 more points with their 2-0 victory over Kansas City over the weekend. They're the first expansion team in MLS history to win 5 straight road games in its first season. And kickoff time has been announced for San Diego State's home opener, which will be on Thursday, August 20th against Stony Brook. It will kick off at 7 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. Progressive Insurance says if you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses. If your place is damaged, get a quote for renter's insurance at progressive.com.
What's wrong with Fernando Tatis Jr.? We're kidding. Relax, Kevin. Kevin Acee, our Padres insiders, with us. A very good weekend for Tatis. We've asked him to change this narrative. I found his quote, Kevin, that you wrote about today in your newsletter, insightful about he's been dealing with inside pitches. He's been hit a lot, including this weekend. But it appeared to be kind of a mature answer. Like, yeah, I could get upset about it. I could charge a mound, but what's that really going to accomplish? So I would just ask you about that. What did you make of what he said about the way he's been pitched to this year and about some of these hit by pitches as well?
Well, I thought it was telling. I don't know exactly what to make of it, because I will tell you that it was basically like, hey, I haven't asked you this in a while. It's about those inside pitches, man. Well, let's go over that again. Yeah, I could charge the mound. That was it. Like, I didn't lead him anywhere. It was like, he just was talking about yeah, I'm pissed. And so, it is. I guess it's evidence of his growth. And also then I thought that there was some insight into him not denying that it has kind of messed with him a little bit.
Yeah, and we all agree if he charged the mound, that would be pretty stupid. I mean, there's the way to make pitchers, I guess, not throw inside. It's really nothing you could do about it. What you got to do is you got to take the mistakes that you're given and make them pay. I think charging the mound, no one would agree with that, right?
Yeah. Right. And he used to be that guy. I'm not saying he used to be like he can never be. He's not this year. He's not making them pay. He is. We've talked about before. He's not getting as many of those mistakes, and he's not doing what superstars do with mistakes nearly as often.
Yeah, he had a better weekend this weekend against the Red Sox. Tonight, Padres starting a 3-game series up in the Bay Area. Dodgers are looming here. You don't expect this to be like a trap series here before the Dodgers this weekend, do you, Kevin?
No, not when you're facing Logan Webb and Robbie Ray, right? I think that's the great neutralizer. I think that it is way overused by all of us when we talk about that was like a playoff game. Well, they're facing 2 playoff caliber pitchers here coming up. Now both of them had their struggles, and the Padres have gotten to both of them before. But I kind of feel like, man, especially in this place where it seems to generally be low scoring, seems to be really close against these teams over the last 6 years here. And I expect this to be, if they win, to be sort of vintage Padres type of games. Now I say that and they're going to hit 6 splashdown or whatever they're called here, splash offs. 3-2, 2-1, those kind of games that get Mike Schultz all giddy, playoff type baseball. I could see the Padres winning a couple of those here.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. You wrote today about the disparity, and this isn't abnormal. I mean, obviously teams are oftentimes better at home than they are on the road, but it's substantial with San Diego. Like, they're among the best teams in baseball at home. They've been very pedestrian on the road. Mm-hmm. And you've covered this team all year long. I mean, from your seat, what's the difference hypothetically in terms of the Padres' chances in October between being a 4 seed, let's say, a 4 seed or better, or a 5 seed or worse?
Yeah. I mean, you would think, again, I'd have to look at that. So how much does it translate over? I would imagine it does. That's one of those things. But, again, we make all these predictions, or we say how it's supposed to line up, and then it's, some team is the Diamondbacks and runs through the postseason. Or what was the other 6 seed that
Phillies.
made it? The Phillies.
Yeah.
So, but, the Phillies also won those 3 games at home. To beat the Padres in the NLCS. I would think it would be very, very advantageous for them. I do think now, look, other teams have home field advantages that are some of them that are just as pronounced as San Diego's. But I kind of buy into that they feed off the energy. But I also buy into they've learned how to play in that park, and they have good pitching, and pitching plays there. It still does. And I think that helps the Padres as well.
I know a lot of Yu Darvish's starts this year are circumstance when it comes to his pitch count, because he's only had really one good start in the, 7 starts this year. But I think it's interesting to note that he hasn't thrown more than 83 pitches in his start this year. And even the game that he went 7 shutout, he only threw 76 pitches there. Is there a permanent pitch count for him for the rest of the season? Or is this just, coincidence that he's not throwing a bunch of pitches here? Or is this like a planned thing?
That's a really good question. I think it's still early enough that they were going to be careful with him. But there hasn't been the opportunity for us to really see other than that one. And I thought I remember that it made sense when he came out in the 7th of that game, that it's not like, oh, well, what's you coming out here for? So quite honestly, I don't know the answer to that in terms of, is there a hard number or a, sort of hard number? I don't know the answer to that, other than to say it. I will look into it because it makes sense, because they want Yu Darvish to be okay. Now, I will say this: they love the way, or he loves the way he feels. He feels better than he thought he would. The arm angle thing is real, and it has helped him. It has taken pressure off the elbow, off the back. He is feeling really good. If the answer to your question does turn out to be yes, it's a preservation thing.
Watch, he'll throw 110 tonight.
I don't know about 110,
Sure,
but yeah,
sure.
Maybe they stretch him out. Kevin Acey, our Padres insider, with us right now from San Francisco. Speaking of, the importance of these starting pitchers in the second half, I didn't really get I didn't hear from Michael King. Maybe I missed it on Saturday. What was Michael King's thoughts on his return to the mound and what it means for him moving forward?
Basically, nothing was working, right? He had a couple pitches that he had to make work. And in terms of working, finding the command, right? He was ahead a lot, but then as he's trying to sequence pitches, he wasn't getting them where they needed to go for him to be effective. And so, again, we talked about before, I think we must have talked about it Friday, that it could have gone that way.
Mm-hmm.
They would have loved to have gotten a few more innings out of him, a couple more. He just didn't have it. And I think that's very reminiscent of a guy who hadn't pitched for 2.5 months. Again, though, there was what did he face? I don't know. Did he face 16 guys? I would say 10 of those counts could have gone different. He looked good at times, I guess, is my bottom line point. So I don't think there was anything troubling about it.
One of the better trades that AJ Preller maybe could have made at the deadline is not trading away Dylan Cease. His last 2 starts have been really good. I know he gave up 2 earned runs yesterday, but he left the game, and it just anyway.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference with Cease that maybe he was kind of worried before about the trade deadline, or the trade deadline might have got to him a little bit that you don't see now with him, or what's the difference maybe after the trade deadline for Cease than before the trade deadline?
I think that has to be real to some extent, right? I do. There's a couple reasons. Dylan was very upset with how he was pitching for a guy. Dylan, I don't know what very upset looks like for Dylan, but that was my understanding. Dylan seems he's just so freaking mellow and even keel. I don't know what guys were talking about when they were telling me how bummed out he was about his performance throughout the year and how much pressure and stress he was putting on himself. I do think that also yesterday, Mike Schilt even, and which only adds credence to it. If Mike Schilt is actually trying to give some insight in a press conference, man, you better listen. Because that just doesn't happen. And he also doesn't just theorize about his players. And he was theorizing that the trade deadline was weighing on Dylan. And Dylan downplays that, but doesn't exactly deny it either. So I think there's something there. I don't think that's why he's better now or wasn't good before. But look, these guys are phenomenal at compartmentalizing. Baseball players, phenomenal at it. But it's impossible to just completely do that and turn everything off. So I do think there was something there. The bigger things were mechanical, and all the other things like focus. I'm being careful with my words here because I don't want to like focus, like rhythm, like conviction in his pitches, like making the right choices. So like these things were the bigger problems, I think, based on all the people I've talked to. I'm talking to Dylan. But yeah, they're only human. My gosh, that guy was going to be traded from the off season from December 3rd through July 31st. So at 2:34 p.m. So yeah, I think that was something.
And we talked about it here too. The switch has already happened with Freddie Fermin. He's caught his last 2 starts, and maybe that's a factor as well. Who knows?
It could be. And I mean, certainly I'm not going to take anything away from what that guy's done because, first of all, that was probably the guy. I don't want to say, how do I say it? I don't know if it was the guy they were most excited about getting. Well, let me tell you, they were stoked to get that guy. And so I'm not going to, downplay what he's done or what they see as the future. I mean, clearly, Freddie Fermin is being penciled in as the 2026 100 start guy.
Yeah, he's been very good. I know it's a small sample size, but he has hit in limited opportunities just because it's only been 10 days. Kevin, before you go, I think you wrote about it, but for our listeners that maybe missed it, what did you make of Mike Shilt's reaction to the idea after Friday's game that Fernando Tatis Jr. could be moved down? Just to, the idea of Tatis being moved down in the order. What did you make of what Mike Schilt said?
Oh, so do you mean Mike Shilt's reaction or the idea of him being
his reaction? Down? I think his reaction.
His reaction. Mike doesn't. Whether it's because he's defensive about himself, which is whether he's defending, so he's defensive for his players. Mike doesn't react well to that. He just doesn't. Mike is also still, I've talked about this before, manages like NFL coaches. He lives every game. He's not in a headspace after games to do the press conferences that managers are required to do. So those two things, being highly defensive and not being in the right headspace, causes him to sometimes overreact or misconstrue or whatever a question. I thought that was pretty mild compared to some of his reactions to even more innocuous questions. And in no way am I down on the question that was asked at all. And I'm saying I thought that was pretty mild. I thought it was legitimate. And yeah, I mean, no one was really interested in what all of us I diagnosed afterwards, because I was inside beat writer, and no one's as interested as that as they are inside baseball. But we talked about it afterward, as we have talked about many of Mike Shilt's inappropriate reactions to innocuous questions.
Yeah, I was surprised by his reaction to your question on Saturday, because you were looking to fill in the blanks in your writing, because you want to know
Ace, what are we doing here?
You want to know if Ramon Laureano missed a sign or not, because it's relevant to what you are writing.
You mean especially since Ramon Laureano had no problem talking about it?
Because he said post-game he missed the sign, and it all's well that ends well. But I think it's reporting that people would be interested in having the knowledge or background on. Kevin?
I mean, absolutely. But anyway, yeah. All right, guys.
We digress. We appreciate it. We'll catch up Wednesday. Thank you.
Right on. Take care.
All right. Kevin Acee, your Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This line from Kevin in his article, I think Saturday, talking about Friday night's game. There's no mama bear as protective of her cubs, no public relations spin doctor as positive about their clients as Mike Shildt is when it comes to his players.
Preach. We've said it before.
Yep.
Jim's back page coming up next. Hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And we've been telling you about this, now open, the hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort, the next level of luxury. It's arrived Treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Hamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
Yeah, savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at the all-new Hamul 23, from their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience. Each evening, indulge in chef-curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
And congratulations as well in order to Hamul Casino Resort for winning Best of San Diego in the UT Readers Poll here in 2025. Check them out this week, the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, John and Jim, final time. Where's the time go? Padres Giants coming up tonight. 6:45 is the start from Oracle. We'll have a wrap-up show for you tonight following game one. Find us on YouTube. Search for the Padres wrap-up show. We'll have it for you tonight. Post-game following game one of Padres and Giants.
For a second, we said Oracle. I'm like, where's that?
Home of the Warriors. What's the name of the building? Chase Center.
Yeah, but they used to play in a place called Oracle.
That's right.
That's why my mind was like, huh?
And it's still Oracle. I always get it.
It's still Oracle.
That's the thing. Like when you say a building name, they change so often now.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Padres Giants tonight. We'll be with you post game for a wrap up show. And right now, let's get to this.
All right, it's a Monday, Crumble Cookie Monday. Here are the crumble cookies of the week, John. First up, a strawberry skillet cookie, which is a brand new item.
Okay, that sounds good.
Peanut butter pretzel brownie. Dude.
Where do you sign up? At Crumble?
I need it in my mouth right now. Pause. Like I just need that cookie like now.
You really do.
A peanut butter pretzel brownie, dude. Come on. If I bought one for Erin, she would lose her mind.
Oh, maybe
I should. One of her favorite desserts is brownies, and she loves chocolate with peanut butter.
Why don't you go home on the way home?
We'll see. Next up, we have this is weird. A Charlotte what is this? I can't even read this. Carlota de Limon icebox cake featuring Dude, I can't read this.
So just skip it next time.
I'll skip it next time. Next up, chocolate cookies and cream cookie.
It's just like the updates we talked about earlier. It's like, don't pre-read anything.
No, it's not about, dude, as someone,
what is it?
This would be like if the Padres had 10 guys that have had a 10-game hitting streak, and if I couldn't name one of the 10 names, I just wouldn't read it. I'd be like, the last 10 to do it, and I'd be like, Arise, Gwynn, Machado, and if I didn't know blah, 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 I wouldn't say it.
That's a good name.
Yeah, I loved him. He was awesome.
He was a really good hitter.
He was a really good player.
He was a good switch hitter. He was a good hitter.
I liked him a lot.
Carlota de Limon icebox cake featuring Maria Skamasama cookies new. I don't know.
A birthday cake cookie. Always love a birthday cake cookie.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Dulce de leche cookie and a semi-sweet chocolate chunk cookie. So those are pretty good options this week.
They're all great.
They always have good options at Crumble Cookie. I mean, you
They
can
do.
never go wrong with anything that they do. All right, moving along here. Chick-fil-A is set to release a new pretzel bun sandwich on August 18th. Chick-fil-A is adding a savory twist to its menu this fall with a nationwide debut of the Pretzel Cheddar Club sandwich launching on August 18th for a limited time. It's a warm, buttery pretzel bun stacked with fresh lettuce, tomato, and cheddar cheese, crispy bacon, and your choice of original, spicy, or grilled chicken fillet. Dude.
Sounds good if you like chicken.
You like pretzels?
Or
If you like pretzels, I love pretzels.
Pretzel buns.
Oh my gosh, right?
I'll pass.
Moving along to other fast food chains that are releasing new things. McDonald's is set to release a new adult Happy Meal with a mystery milkshake on August 12th, which is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's is bringing a wave of nostalgia to its menus with the launch of the new McDonald Land Meal, a playful throwback designed for adults, available starting August 12th. The limited time meal comes with your choice of a quarter pounder with cheese or a 10-piece chicken nugget, a side of world famous fries, and a brand new mystery shake. I don't know if I'd want a mystery item. I want to know what I'm getting.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I want to know the options, and then I want to pick what I want.
Yeah, completely. With food, come on. Completely.
So yeah, I'm not down for the mystery items. So
I understand that.
KFC, final one. KFC is set to bring back their fan favorite potato wedges on August 18th.
Okay.
KFC is set to make one of its most anticipated menu comebacks in years. Potato wedges are returning nationwide on August 15th. It's been off the menu for 5 years now, John. KFC did a funny promotion today. They posted 7 hours ago a picture of a potato wedge, and they said, "Here, damn."
These people have been asking for it all that time.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's very good.
By the way, you missed the best back page item.
What did I miss, John?
AOL is shutting down its dial-up service after 30 years in September.
That's my AOL.
Here's my trivia question for you guys right now. How many people are using AOL dial-up service as of today?
I know one.
Really?
At least they have an email. Actually, it's just a pure guess on my part.
Oh, having the email doesn't mean you use their dial-up.
Oh, I don't think anybody has dial-up.
Dial-up.
Yeah, as someone that takes like all the emails for like the prizes, there is more AOL emails than you would think.
Well, email,
Yeah,
yes, but how many people are paying for dial-up? According,
None. They just you saved all those CD-ROMs you got in the mail and you got it for free.
In the U.S., an estimated 163,401 households, 163,401 households were using dial-up alone to get online in 2023.
It's
over
2025.
0.13% of all homes.
What are we doing?
Over 0.13. Now, here's my question. Of those 163,000 households, how many were just paying for it and didn't realize they were still paying?
They're like, why is the internet so bad here?
Why is it? Dude, that thing was so slow back in the day. As someone that's in our 40s, like I don't know how long you had dial-up. You would have been a kid. Because by the time you were like 10, you would have been using something better than dial-up, I assume.
We were using AOL. I remember using AOL dial-up in like maybe 6th grade. So
What year was that?
Like the early 2000s, like maybe how old was I? How old do you have to be in 6th grade? I forget.
Oh my gosh. Just never mind.
Maybe like 2001.
You were in 6th grade as a 32-year-old? Or as a 2-year-old?
I just remember having that big box computer in my room and then trying to connect to the internet. And there's like the 3 stages of it. And it showed the little running man. And then it just like slowly the bars went up.
Early days.
Like, oh my gosh.
Brent's going to remember the early days. I mean, the 2400.
In the early days.
The 2400 modems were like the 1200. Because it went like 1200, 2400. Then it went to like 24.4 and 48.8 and 56.6. And those things were humming. And by humming, they were the slowest things ever. But the old days, it would take like an hour to load like.
But you could download a 5-minute song in like 20 minutes.
Exactly.
I was amazing.
LimeWire. Napster?
No, I was LimeWire.
Napster was shut down by the time I got into it. I was a LimeWire guy too.
Now, if something doesn't start on my phone within like a millisecond, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this is stupid.
Anyway, if you still have AOL dial-up, get rid of it because it ends September 30th. If you missed anything today, including our conversation with Trevor Hoffman, go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. Phil Nevin joins us tomorrow on John and Jim. Tonight, wrap-up show for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye.